That's right. They thought they were cool. Well, how cool are you today? Can y'all make up a rap song about this?
Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Get Ranked. Yes. And this week we're talking about board games, ranking them up. So let's introduce our guest first. What's up, Common?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm the Common Nerd. This is my first time on Ranked. This should be fun. I'm excited. Devil and Adam are good buddies, and then I see Bad Take Bojan all the time in the chat. And Extra Zero, I think this is the first time we've ever been on anything together before, or even before I've ever really seen you. So, so yeah, I'm excited. This should be fun. But yeah, no, I do pop culture and nerd videos. Come check me out. I do Bible studies and I do all kinds of crazy shit. So yeah, come hang out with us. And then sometimes I hang out with Adam too. So,
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, so He's been trying to convert me, get me devil straight for a while here.
Yeah. Like 2 p.m. Central Standard Time every single Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. All you got to do is come and listen. That's all I ever say.
Next up, we got Bad Take Bojan. How's it going, Tina?
Oh, things are going really, really well. Thanks for having me tonight. Board games are a big thing in my family. My sister, younger one, is a huge game freak. And a few months ago, she got us starting to meet every 2 or 3 weeks to do family game night. So we're talking like all of our siblings, plus my parents, that's 12, plus 8 grandchildren. We get a house full of people. And
nice. Yeah. Well, then you're perfect for this list. Next up, we have Adam, Soldier Spirit.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, happy to be here for my first time. This is a perfect topic for me. I played the shit out of board games as a kid, unlike fucking Dermy, who doesn't even know what a board game is. Fucking but yeah, I had an excellent time last night. I'm still nursing a little bit of a hangover with all the fucking super chats that Drunk 3PO brought with all his fans and everything as we were celebrating 10,000 subscribers on Vets Talking last night. It was a hell of a night of drunk and Culture Casino and so many more. And back to drinking beer again. God, don't make you have a hangover tomorrow.
And next up, we have my co-host, Extra Zero. What's up, Extra?
Hey, you remember me this time.
Yeah, I usually forget him. I feel bad.
No, I'm doing all right. It's been a busy weekend. So if you watched the meme stream yesterday, I gave the update about what's going on. But I had a dear friend and coworker pass away, so it was busy. I went to his funeral yesterday, so put me in an interesting headspace. And the work's been crazy, so I've been doing that, working. But I did some barbecue therapy today. I cooked up some ribs for my wife's best friend and her boyfriend, and we just enjoyed a nice day outside. I got too much sun again, so I'm hanging in there from that.
All right. Well, first let's go over the rules.
As I take a big sip.
Yeah, sorry.
I was expecting you to say how you were doing.
No one cares.
I care. Well, let me go ahead and I'll read off the rules. This is how it works. Devil will present every choice, and we'll have the opportunity for some healthy debate using a designated set of criteria and decide where it ranks. For tonight, and you know what? You caught me because I didn't have our criteria. We're going to be judging on how broad is the appeal of the game, the playability, how fun it is, and the X factor. The X factor is up to us, and it can be based off of any of our personal biases or appreciations of a particular game. If we're deadlocked in a choice, Devil will be our tiebreaker and will make his decision based on our best arguments. And that's also going to include you all in the chat. In the end, Devil will give us one last opportunity for adjustments in case anyone changes their mind prior to locking everything in. Other than that, the only rules are there's no rules other than don't break the terms of service, because if there's one thing with more power than the Devil himself, it's the YouTube gods.
Absolutely.
Same difference.
Yeah,
If anybody breaks a rule, I'll drink.
And if anybody doesn't break a rule, you'll drink too. So
I'll still drink.
I said, we're
That's
just
the way to get
drinking
rid of
tonight. Hey, cheers, Adam. Right there with you
Cheers,
tonight,
buddy.
brother.
Man.
Adam's got the win-win mentality.
Mhm. That's right.
All right, let's bring up our list.
all right.
Show me your list.
I will put it up there. Go ahead and start playing the music.
Ooh, there's music.
Yep.
Some ambient sounds. Like some nice airflow. Uh-oh. Oh, I was waiting for a beat to drop.
Nope, just a fart.
Out in the wind.
So here's our list where we're gonna put them all. All choices will start in the void, and then you guys will tell me where to move them to. Our choices are, or our selection is, aggravation. What's the second one? Backgammon. Battleship. Boggle. Candyland. Catan? I've never even heard that one.
Yeah.
But
Catan,
people
yeah.
like it.
Catan.
Catan. There you go. Catan. Checkers, chess, Chinese checkers, shoots and ladders, Clue, code names, the game of life, Monopoly, Mousetrap, Operation, Pictionary, Risk, categories, Scramble, Sequence, Sorry, Stratego, Trivial Pursuit, Trouble, Guess Who, and Fireball Island.
Alrighty then.
Okay. Gay Island. Gotcha. Dermy's game.
I smell some memes.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that. Did anybody tag the Legion? Besides Devil, did you tag the Legion?
No, I don't think I did. Did I?
I should
No,
have
I
tagged. I should have tagged the Legion. I forgot. I got to get back into the habit of that. I always forget to tag Legion. All right.
Me
So what
too,
do we know about
honestly.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to, but if I correct myself and remind myself, hey, stupid, next time, tag the Legion, it'll help remind me better next time. Because that's my theory behind it.
Okay, aggravation. Now, I vaguely remember this one. I'm not 100% sure. I know you move your marble around or you get rid of marbles around your color, right? I believe.
Yeah. I'm looking it up now because I swear I played this, but vaguely remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one's a stumper for me.
Yeah.
It's definitely not one of the standout ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like you start a point and then you got to go around and then you got to build like all four of them in your whatever the fuck it's called. There's a start, base, and home. I'm looking at.
And then there's dice involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you roll the
what?
dice and then you pick which one of the balls that you're gonna move.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's my opinion on this. Okay, if it is so unknown that we literally have to look it up and none of us remember playing it, that's at least like D tier. Okay, if it's not iconic enough for all of us to remember it, that's like minimum D tier.
I'm gonna say this looks like a less interesting version of Trouble or Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was thinking of
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly, I was thinking of sorry. Yep. Yeah.
Is
Fuck
it-
D tier.
And of course, the mom in me goes the one that's probably on the list who's got the most chance of choking your toddler. So
Next to Chinese checkers.
True.
Yeah,
very
that's
true.
Chinese checkers would definitely be worse on that one.
Choking risk goes in D.
Yeah, I think this one. I think this is a solid D.
Yeah, I've played it, but obviously, yeah, it's so forgettable. It's D.
Okay, and Tina, you said D for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, what about you, Zero?
I'm gonna go D. I think this is like one of those games I'm starting to remember. Like that was like one of those like games in elementary school when you had like a rainy day recess that like it was like the game nobody picked.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a reason why.
Everyone grouped up and they grabbed the good ones, and you got stuck on the.
Yeah,
your
but
vacancy.
everybody grabbed that fucking game that was like you move the marble through an obstacle course. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about Mousetrap?
No.
No, there's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you talk about the one where you like tilted it and you kind of rotated it back and forth. You talk about that one?
Screwball Scramble is what I'm thinking
Oh.
of.
Mm.
I don't think I ever played that one.
Oh man, it's so good.
Okay.
All
I
depends
had
on where
a-
you grew up in elementary. What section of the country you went to.
I had a teacher who every single lunch had a friend who came over and played backgammon. He loved it. I could never figure out how to play it from watching.
I just always remember it was my grandparents' game.
Yeah.
I mean, I would give it like at least an A or a B just because it's iconic. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it, but like unless you're over 60, nobody knows how to play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
think-
I'm a little bit closer to 60 than the rest of you, but I remember
Lies.
learning it when I was in my teens, and I honestly think it was probably my grandmother or my grandfather that taught it to me. I remember enjoying playing it, but it's not anything that we play.
That's what I'm saying. For iconic status, somewhere between an A and a B. But the fact that none of us know how to play it, I mean, it definitely ain't top tier. Probably like a B.
Yeah, I had my grandparents try to teach it to me, and I was bored to tears just trying to learn it. I'm like, fuck this game.
Yeah, the appeal's not too broad because it does really kind of stick to older folks who know how to play it and like it. So where do you guys place it on the list? Where do you think it falls?
D.
I'm gonna say B.
B, D.
Really? Just because it's iconic?
Mm-hmm.
I can't agree with that. There's I
I'll
can't.
That's your opinion. That's not my problem. You're wrong.
I will
Tina, where
fight
do
you
you
over
see it?
backgammon, bitch.
I will outsmart you with backgammon.
Joke's on you. You don't know how to play backgammon.
Joke's on you. Neither do you.
That's right.
But I can learn fast.
This
I can
game's
learn
not
faster because I got a
fucking
higher
D-tier.
ASVAB score.
It's like one of those games I'm like reading the rules on Wikipedia because I know I've played it at one point, and I'm like, even reading the rules, it's like hurting my brain right now. And I'm sure there's somebody in the chat going like, "It's not that hard. It makes sense when you play it."
I got to make this argument with Jesse, though. I mean, there's only like a couple of games on here that aren't iconic. I mean, so you're going to pick the worst game and still say it's going to be B tier just because it's iconic?
Well, then what do we? How about we settle in the middle and call it a C? I'm a negotiator.
I just don't think it's worth giving
Icon-
any rank just because it's iconic.
Well, that's what I'm
it's-
see, and that's the difference between my opinion and your opinion.
Your opinion sucks. That's my opinion.
Well, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
It is one
Not
of the
my
oldest
fault.
games in the world. It dates
Yeah.
back
See?
to 1635.
And it's still around.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Iconic.
Well, so is Katana. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Katana
Yeah, I
been
don't
around
know.
since the 1600s.
How do you know? That thing might be around since Jesus.
Bullshit. Look that motherfucker up. I guarantee you, Jesus was playing checkers before he was playing Catan.
Catan originated in 95. So.
See?
we
Thank
all-
you.
okay.
Don't
So
question my obscure, stupid knowledge of random events.
And Paul comes in, but who plays it today? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Um,
I would go with a B or a C, and I can definitely be negotiated to a C. I just remember really enjoying it, but I didn't play it often because no one else my age knew how, and by now I've forgotten as an adult.
There is
So I go
actually
with a C.
a World Backgammon Federation.
Of course there is.
Awesome.
There's probably one for
Dude.
every one of these games.
I think,
Yeah,
it's-
exactly. It's probably a World Candyland Federation.
and from what I'm seeing, it
Well,
seems
maybe not.
it seems like it has more appeal in Europe. So we probably have like Kenzo going like, "Oh, they play it all the time over here, mate. What are you talking about?"
When when I grew up in the city, because I was in between a Mexican and Greek and
Racist.
Polish neighborhood, because all
Shut
the
up.
neighborhoods in the city are very
sorry.
ethnically oriented.
Segregated.
Exactly.
across
Thank you.
top?
I'll try to do it
There you
nicely.
No, it
and I
is. It's
remember-
self-segregation.
And I remember that next to the bocce ball court, that only the old Italian men who came from a couple of neighborhoods over would play. And then they had tables that were made of basically made of concrete, but they had a chessboard like painted on it. They had backgammon painted on it, and you could go inside the building and for $1 rent the stuff. And so there was always a bunch of old men and women hanging out playing that kind of stuff. So
I mean,
for me, it's kind of
an iconic. Well, I mean, that's an iconic scene from literally every major big city movie. Hell, Independence Day did it. Remember, he was playing chess with his dad.
Oh
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I mean, so yeah, it makes sense that in big cities people played it a lot more. That's what I said. I just B or C. I'm happy either way.
Yeah,
I don't know how to play the fucking game either.
Extra.
I think a
these two-
D. I think a D is just unfair because it's iconic. This, on the
Yeah.
other hand, I think is perfect, fitting, and everything that goes.
I had to shout out Kenzo. I did a terrible Kenzo impersonation, but I got to shout him out for this banger of a meme.
Anything involving Dermy eating is totally worth it seeing.
Yep. Extra. What do you say, man? Because I mean, they're saying B or C. I'm still sticking with D, but depend on you. My code can see to go middle.
I'm with you on this one, Adam, because it's just like it's a game. Just like with aggravation, it's a game that I think has lost its appeal. Old doesn't mean great. I mean, like if we were ranking cars and the Model T came up, are you going to put the Model T in S tier next to a Lamborghini or a Grey Ghost or something?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I would,
true.
but I'm a chick, so I mean,
I was just gonna say, depending on your definition of great, I mean that's kind of legendary, right?
Well,
Like it's the one that started it all. So I mean, I don't know, like nothing else would come after it. The Lamborghini might not exist if it wasn't for the Model T. All I'm saying about backgammon is the difference between aggravation and backgammon is I don't know what the hell aggravation is. And the majority of us on this panel don't know what aggravation is. Whereas everybody knows what backgammon is, whether you've played it or not.
But I mean, I think looking at aggravation, it probably set the stage for like Sorry and Trouble, but that doesn't make it a better game. I think it deserves that D. And backgammon, I think again, there's people that play it. There's a World Backgammon Federation, but it's never grabbed me as a game player. And so given our criteria for how we're ranking stuff on this, I can't really put it high just because of its legacy.
Are we just ranking them based on
appeal, playability, fun, and X factor?
Yeah. Your
so,
X
but that's the
factor.
X factor is legacy for me anyway.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And for me, it's nostalgia. I mean, I'd be comfortable with this negotiating to a C. I just don't think it belongs in the same category as aggravation. Because if we're going to put it in a D, then aggravation goes to the void.
All right. Yeah, I'll concede and go C then.
All right. Well, then I'm outnumbered, so I guess I have no choice but to concede for the C.
Right.
C for the win.
And see, we've turned this into a game.
Yep,
This is
there you
how
go.
100% it is. We're essentially playing negotiation.
Next up, here is Adam's favorite, Battleship.
Nah, that's neat shit. Fuck that.
New shit.
All right. So, how do you guys feel about Battleship?
I love it. I love the game, especially the electronic talking. Battleship was a huge deal in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it can go lower than an A. Especially like electronic talking Battleship was great because it was like cheat proof. And like that's the thing. It's like Battleship back then. You always had that one kid, that little piece of shit that would lie and be like, no. And then after the game, you'd be like, motherfucker, you were on A1.
Yeah.
I'm the devil. I always cheat.
I filled up the whole board. How did I not hit a single fucking ship?
I'm totally comfortable with A on this one, just based on my own personal X factor. And this game was a lot of fun. Like if there ain't nothing else to do, the power's out, you go, hey, you want to play Battleship? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'm totally down for that.
I go for an A. I don't think I can put it in S tier. It's got a little bit of frustration, you know, when you're sitting there and you're like, where the fuck are you? But yeah, A. I would definitely go easy A.
What about you, Tina? How you feel about?
I am comfortable with A or B because it is one of my favorite games as a kid. So I would prefer the A, but you know, I'm willing to negotiate.
Never worked.
It worked for me.
Yep, there you go. Looks like A it is.
Yeah, and
You sure it shouldn't be S for nostalgia, common nerd?
Nope, it ain't that fucking nostalgic. It ain't been around that long. Trust me, I've pretty much already got my like picked out ones where I'm gonna like drop the nostalgia card and like the whole X Factor or something fierce. Trust me, I already know which ones those are gonna be. So
it seems like you got two games in here, or two types. You have the games you could do really quick. They were short, they were sweet, you know, Battleship, and then you have the ones that really draw out, you know, Monopoly, where you're playing for hours. So this is one of those fun short games you could play. You know, it didn't take long to set up, didn't take long to put away, type thing. So
Yep.
well, you could play several rounds of it too if you had to. I mean, you could literally turn Battleship into a tournament system real quick.
Oh yeah,
Jeremy, what's
out of
kid?
5?
He's adding more credence to the fact that he's French.
Hey, Dermy, I hear you're a coward and are afraid to give up, but you have to have the Americans come in and save you.
And hey, Renaissance nerd, my electronic battleship worked because it was 1990s DOS programming. So it was the shit.
Nice.
To play it on a computer before there were any handheld computer games.
All right, you rich spoiled brats. I never had any kind of fancy electronic battleship.
We played Battleship with sticks.
That's right. Had to mark it out on grid paper. All right.
Okay, Boggle. Now, I think Boggle is one of the ones you have to actually be able to spell to play right. It's like words and stuff, right?
Yeah, you
See, I'm dyslexic.
You need to have a basic knowledge of the English language.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic, so any game that has spelling in it, don't even ask me. I don't know shit about it.
Jeremy's automatically saying void, and he's going to do a reaction video to this.
Now, once again, I'm pulling out the mom card. This was well before me, but I remember in the 90s it was really popular to have like mom's wine night. So instead of like book club, it was like Boggle Club. So it's kind of like the old days where they would play like different card games and stuff. They would have little, you know, card tables set up, and you know, 4 or 5 women sitting around a table and groups of tables in a room, and they were all playing Boggle against each other.
See,
it
we had
pretty dorky to me, but you know, it was popular.
all of ours played what was it? Either I think it was Scrabble. I think all of our wine moms played Scrabble.
Seen around drunk going, I spelled ass, you can kiss mine, Pam.
Boggle has a special place in my heart because it was a game that my grandmother and I played together. It was like the only board game I could get her to play. And, you know, it's easy to set up. I used to love setting it up and getting our papers ready. You know, we had the shitty little sand timer that came along with it. And you know, the cool thing about Boggle was I think, you know, yes, it does have that appeal, like the mom thing, but when you're a little kid learning how to spell and you have like 5-letter words, because that's the thing, Boggle is like no more than 5 letters. It was a lot of fun for me. And then I'm a big King of the Hill fan. I love that show, and there are like several episodes about Boggle, of Peggy Hill playing Boggle.
Yeah.
The Boggle Championship one, and then the one where that guy grifts her from prison, claiming that like he was a former student and she taught him how to play Boggle, and she becomes a Coke mule with the Boggle timer.
That's awesome. See, Boggle for me, it was always like playing for homework. You know what I mean? Because you got to practice words and spelling and sounding out, you know, that kind of thing. So
for me, it's really blah. I think more than anything, like we were talking even how like I had to learn French in the army, right? So just as an example, when we had to take our test and we were timed on like having to fucking translate shit and everything like that. Whenever I have a timer and I have to fucking like do words like for something, like my brain just shuts down. Like fuck this.
Spelling
So
gives me PTSD.
And
Yeah, so-
that's why you enlisted in the army.
that's right. So yeah, I never enjoyed it because yeah, like I said, yes, having that timer and like all of a sudden my brain shuts down. Like I don't even know how to spell as. I mean, so
I also have to add, it's one of the few game. It's probably the one of two games on this list that I've played mobile. You know, like actually enjoyed the mobile version of. Like I'll actually play Boggle on my phone every now and then.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Now,
Okay, so where does it land for everyone? Is the question.
for me, it's like a B because it's just not something I played a lot. I know a lot about it. I know how the game works, all of that kind of stuff, but it's not something I played a lot.
I put it at C for me.
I'd be negotiated down to that.
I put it as a C. It wouldn't go above backgammon for me.
Okay. What about you, Zero?
Oh man, for me it's an A. It's an A tier for me. I'd settle with a B, but I just have a lot of fond memories, and it's a game that I really do enjoy for several stated reasons.
Okay, so we had 2 C's and 2 B's, or was it 3 C's and 2 B's?
I think we all said that 3 of us said we could go with the C, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I think common was between the B and the C.
Well, I mean, and I think I think Bojan was too, weren't you, Tina?
Yeah, I
Were you kind of like him?
I could go with B. You know what I mean? For me, it's not it's not above backgammon, but I'm comfortable with B because it's popular.
Okay. Yeah, I
And-
think the fact that they actually had parties about it kind of really says something, you
Yeah.
know?
That's a good point.
X Factor.
Fuck
X
y'all. I'm switching to
There
D.
you go.
Fuck y'all.
X Factor. X Factor. It's
gotta be-
iconic.
You gotta be careful, Adam. You make too many enemies, they're just gonna vote against you every time.
Well, and here's the other thing.
You
Now
get
you're getting
Monster of the
closer to
Mayor,
agree. You're starting to get closer to agreeing with Dermy. That's the thing I'd be the most worried about.
Is that a French thing?
Yeah, that's I forget what it's called, but yeah, that's a word. That's a different variation of the letter C.
They lost wars. We had to save them. I don't care what their letters are.
He's using a French C. You found him out, Zero.
It explains everything.
All right, next up, Candyland. Who didn't play Candyland as a kid? It's like
Right.
required, man.
Yeah.
Yep. That's that's good memories right there.
yeah,
I
100%.
loved Candyland as a kid, but there's this point in time when you find out that the game's complete bullshit.
It's like it's the dumbest fucking game ever.
Well, no, Cootie is the dumbest game.
Agreed.
Oh,
Cootie is
yeah,
dumber than
Cootie.
Candyland.
Yeah, Cootie.
Yeah, you
like-
built the little bugs. You don't remember that
Plastic
one?
bugs, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it on the commercials, but yeah, I never messed with one.
Yeah, it was like
my
a
grandmother
Mr.
probably thought I was
Potato
too
Head.
smart for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of like
you-
Mr. Potato Head with like a timer, or you had to take turns and win pieces to put your
Your
bug
cootie.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, my only
oh, now I remember. How do you spell that? I got holy shit.
It's COOTIE.
There you go. My only argument above like a B for like Candyland would just because not only is it one of those games, it's meant to be played with like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people that are just learning the basics of math, people that are just learning the basics of games. Like that's what it's
Mhm.
designed for. Yes, as adults, are we going to enjoy Candyland?
No.
Not unless we're playing with our kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not something
Yeah.
we're all going to crack a
See.
beer around and play. But the fact that it's something that not only every single one of us played, but also the fact that it is teaching basics about gameplay is the only reason I would argue for that one to be in the A tier.
Oh,
But
you're
I
talking
could be
about. I was
I could be
playing
negotiated.
drinking Candyland just the other night.
Well, I stand corrected, Adam. I stand corrected.
It's definitely a game with a short appeal. It's it's when you're a kid, and then after that is like you said, it's just drops off. But
When
uh,
I was
I have
growing
no
up-
problem just rating it based on playing as a kid, though. You know, I mean,
That's a good point. That's an X factor.
yeah.
When I was growing up, the one of the families in the neighborhood was like super Christian, so we couldn't play with the fairy because she was scantily clad. We had to pull the fairy
Oh, I
out of
thought it
the
was
bag.
you weren't going to be able to play the game at all because of the witch.
the
But I guess they show her in a bad light, so it's okay.
Exactly.
fairy showing leg. Get that
Yeah.
out of here.
Hey, man, think about that for a second, though. Think about where Disney is. everybody made fun of all the Christians protesting Disney in like the early 90s and shit. I don't know, man. Look where they're at now. Maybe they were onto something about Candyland and all that leg.
Ban Candyland.
So I
I'm
guess
still going to say like an A.
Yeah, like if I'm thinking back to as a kid, I would obviously put it at S tier, but you know, I would at least knock it down for the fact that you can only play it as a kid. So I get Tina, you're saying like X Factor, but obviously can't put it in S tier because there's no fucking way I'm playing Candyland now unless I have a kid and I don't.
Right.
So fuck that. But I'll put it A. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
Like
A tier.
Yeah, best game as a kid.
What about you, Zero?
I'm the contrarian on this one. I think it's a C tier game at best, mostly because it's again like maybe when I was a kid I was a little different, but I'm also from like the first Nintendo generation, so even when I was a real little kid, I was like I wanted a little bit more of a challenge. I wanted a little bit more to do with the game, and it's just kind of a game where it's like, okay, get to the end. That's it. That's your objective. There wasn't stuff where you could like screw over your opponent. I would rather play stuff like Trouble, Sorry, Shoots and Ladders. So I can't in good conscience put Candyland any higher than a C.
He wanted more risk, so he played Russian roulette Candyland.
I was about to say, I think he was clearly beaten as a child.
Well, yes, but fucked up story. We did play Russian roulette with Nerf guns.
I mean, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
There wasn't any real
kid,
consequences.
his name was like this kid named Jason Phillips. Let's see if he's still around, but he had like a Nerf gun. He saw like the Deer Hunter. He's like, check this out.
All right.
90s parents were so bad about 90s parents were so bad about making kids watch movies they shouldn't have.
It was always some kid's older brother.
I didn't have those problems. It was always my grandparents. So I'm still gonna, like I said, I'm gonna argue A just for iconic and the basics and all that kind of stuff. So the rest of the team can argue whatever they want.
Well, I mostly heard A's, so A it is.
Alrighty then.
Okay, next
Devil's
up,
decided.
Catan. I have not heard. Like I said, I have no idea what this game is.
Just amazingly iconic ancient game.
I love the game.
heard of it.
I have it, and its expansion.
Explain it, because
So
I don't know.
Settlers of Catan is you start, you get your own pieces of land, and the whole idea is to build and expand your land. It's a game that you definitely have to be familiar with the rules and how it works, and there's resource management. It's a great game to play with a group, but it's a very nerdy game, and there's issues with accessibility because you really do have to be familiar with the rules and what the pieces are and what they do and how you expand your land. But when you get it, it is a really fun game. I will say that I love the game. I'd have to, for me personally, put it in like a B, just because of the accessibility issues and getting it set up and making sure everybody knows the rules. But if you're playing it in a group, it is a ton of fun.
So it's essentially the precursor to Farmville, is what you're saying?
No, it's something like Farmville.
Is that at all like Risk?
It's I guess you could say it's somewhat like Risk, but it's way less complicated.
No, you what? I'm looking at it now. I don't know how you can say this is less complicated than Risk.
No, it is way less complicated than Risk. I mean, it depends on what kind of board game you're looking at. If you're looking at like some of the ones people have 3D printed, but if you're playing on like the basic board, like you can see where people set up their settlements and they set up their roads and
Yeah, exactly. Settlements and roads and shit. Risk is just all about go boom, take over a fucking country. That's it. How is this? There's no way this is less complicated.
It is less complicated than Risk, but it's just like you'd have to go over the rules and see how everything works. in order to get it. It will like when I first
This
learned how to
does
play
not
Risk,
sound less complicated. You are making it sound way more complicated.
Now,
and
looking at
that's
the
and
picture,
that's
it looks
that's
like
the
Risk and
accessibility issue, right? Is that I'm making it sound more complicated. It's a game that if you sit down and look at, you're like, okay, I get it. But for me, in a bridged period of time, I'm not going to be able to explain how to play.
I can tell you in 30 seconds how to play Risk.
This
Well-
right here. This is my issue with the game. Like, I've heard of Catan. I know it's one of those games that you're like, oh yeah, it's amazing when you understand it, when you know the rules,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I would give this one a C just because of the accessibility issues, because I don't know how to play it. I've never played it. I've heard about it, all of that kind of stuff. But like what you guys have already said already, what Extra Zero has already said, that's an issue for me, because this isn't something that you can just pull. If power goes out, if you're stuck by candlelight, this is always my judgment on board games,
Yeah.
especially in our modern era. If you can't pull it out and everybody figure out how to play it in about 15, 20 minutes, then it's a game that you have to be dedicated to in order to understand and learn to play it. It's just like a lot of other strategy.
There are
massive
YouTube
games.
videos to show you how to play it in four minutes.
I just
Sure,
love.
and I'm sure you have to pause them every 45 seconds to go to the next step.
Well, no, I mean you have to get up to 10 victory points in order to win the game.
I
you
just
know.
love that the two mentalities you have. Extra Zero saying you build and you create your land and you expand your
Right.
land and stuff, and then you have Adams all like Risk, blow shit up. Like this is the soldier mentality. He's all, I don't want to build land,
no.
I want to destroy it.
Yes, exactly.
Catan is the precursor, right? That's the establishment of the civilization
Yeah.
part, and then Risk is like, okay, we've already figured out how to make food. We're gonna kill each
Yeah,
other now.
blow the
It
world
does
up.
take less. It does take less time than Risk. But Paul, it is nothing like D&D. D&D is very, very, very complex.
I love D.
I have no idea where to put it because I never played it, no experience, only learned about it now. So I mean,
I would settle with a C again. It's a game that I think I personally would like to give it a B, but I think it's a game that if you read the rules and you get it and you play it in a group, it is a lot of fun. I think that the playability is there. I think that the I don't think it has the broadest appeal, but I think the playability and the fun is definitely there. X Factor is for me the experience that I've had playing with my friends, because it was a game that I kind of sat in and watched them play, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I'll come in for a round. And then when I did and I got it, I was hooked, for the times that we were playing it.
At some point after you get big enough as a civilization, do you get to build your own army?
Well, no, once you get 10 victory points, game over. No, that person
Oh.
wins.
I was trying to give it some broad appeal for Adam there,
No.
but I guess not. If you can't build an army.
I'm just gonna abstain from the vote. I mean,
So okay, so
I-
we got one C so far, right? Or did you say B? You said C.
I'd like to give it a B, but I would be comfortable giving it a C if that's where everybody else leans. But I don't think it's a D tier game, and I definitely don't believe it belongs in the void.
Okay. What about you, Common?
I don't think it's a D tier at all. I think a C is where I'd feel comfortable with that one at, because no game with this kind of complexity and stuff like that, and that much replayability deserves to be in anywhere near a D tier. And it's accessibility that really hurts my vote on that
Right.
one. That's why I say a C. So
Okay. What about you, Tina? How do you feel about it?
I don't know enough about it, but from what I've heard, I'm quite comfortable with a C.
Okay. Catan is in C. Okay, next up, checkers. Now, everyone's played checkers, like you're saying. If backgammon's iconic, checkers is pretty iconic too. So
well, I guess that automatically puts it in a B.
I want to give checkers an S tier, to be honest.
Yep. I'm going with Extra
Yeah.
Zero on this one. There's a couple of things that I'm like solid S tier on, and checkers is going to be one of those, just because it's one almost every single one of us has played. It's a very simple game to learn, but at the exact same time, you can make the strategy a little. It's not quite chess, but you can make the strategy enough to where you can make it difficult. And it's something that, once again, you can learn really quickly, really
Yeah.
fast, and still the replayability goes on forever and ever because you can always figure out a different way to do things. And then when you add in the king factor and being able to move in any direction, that creates a whole new layer to the game. Plus, like I said, everybody played checkers as a kid. That's one of your first board games.
I think Checkers 2 has one of the most Checkers 2 is one of the most satisfying things in any basic board game when you get a big jump and go across the board on your opponent. Like that again, thinking back to those indoor recess days in school when you did that, you felt like felt pretty cool doing that.
King of the world.
Yeah.
Dermy was the kid who ate pieces. Why are there less black pieces and Dermy's over there slipping into his mouth?
I thought they were Oreos.
Cookies. Why do these red ones taste funny?
Devil, can I ask you to scroll down so we can see the other games?
Yes.
See, what I'm trying to decide if there would be games that I would.
Well, at the end, we can.
Yeah, you
can
can
adjust,
change
yeah.
stuff up. And...
Yeah, my point is, like, I'm thinking, like, I mean, yeah, checkers is fun, but I know that there's other. If I had an option, I know there's other games I would very quickly pick over that. That's why I'm thinking. I don't think I can put it in S tier.
Limited to one.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
S tier isn't limited to one. There can be multiple S tiers.
I know.
And we can always adjust later on.
So
Don't be so indecisive now. Be indecisive later.
Jesse said S, right?
I said S2.
Oh, you said S2? Okay, so we got 2 S's. What about you, Adam?
I'm feeling like A. I don't think I can put it S tier.
I'm saying A also.
So 2 A's.
Devil's our tiebreaker.
2 A's and 2 S's. Okay, so I'm the tiebreaker. That one's hard because I agree with both you. It's a simple game, but at the same time, it's one of those games that, like I said, old people play, kids play. It's a quick game, so you can get a bunch in. I'll put it S. I think S works.
And thinking back to the comment of, well, is it a game you can play by candlelight? Like if your power goes out and you have a checkerboard, that's a game you barely need any light to play. Everybody knows it. It's the accessibility's there. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's literally another one of those games where if you didn't even have all the pieces, but you knew what the general rules were, you could lay out a piece of grid paper with a ruler.
You can make your own checkerboard.
And I mean, everybody's got something circular. You find a bunch of coins,
Yeah, we used to
poker
do
chips.
Yeah, we used to do heads and tails of quarters.
Yeah, Derby comes in. He's got the black Oreos and the white Oreos.
Oh, what was the game that had the black and the white? It's like Othello.
Othello.
Or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Othello. Yeah. Okay. Next up, chess.
S tier all the way.
S tier, hands down.
Yeah.
This is the only board game on here that's like played in
Jesus days.
Well, not like that, but don't they have like chess in the Olympics?
Oh, they might.
Well,
they might now.
It's not just that. It's like I don't know. There's not chess in the Olympics. There's world championships of chess. But not only that, but chess is one of those every other true strategy game is derived more or less from chess. That's where it all really, for a lot of that stuff, is really where it is. Your placement on the board. I mean, this is the different. This game right here is when your kids have finally gotten really good at checkers. You're like, all right, we're gonna take it to the next level.
They start beating you at checkers. You're all okay, fine, we'll do.
All right, we got it. All right, now it's time for the next level. All right, you've mastered level 1. Now we're gonna go to level 2, and I'm also gonna give another X factor to chess on this aspect, because I did a story on my YouTube channel a few years ago. Yeah, if you haven't come subscribe to my channel, come to it for weird stories like this, because even though videos like this don't get very many views, I like doing weird videos, okay? There was a story I did over the World Championship chess tournaments, okay? One of the guys got accused of having an electronic phallic device, yes, shoved up his derriere.
Oh yeah.
And according to the theory on Reddit, The vibrations were telling him what moves to make, and that
Uh-huh.
was how he cheated at the World Championships.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And
Now,
it
did
did.
checkers do that? Did Candyland Battleships? Did Battleship freaking World Championships do that? No, chess. Chess brought us that glorious news story, boys and
Well,
girls.
I did that when I was playing drinking Candyland.
Why doesn't that surprise me, Adam? I know it gets bored and lonely in that giant squad or platoon or whatever it is of all guys, but damn, man, damn.
You know, it is called the Game of Kings, right? Isn't that what chess is called?
Yes.
Game of Kings? Yeah. Okay. Well, so I heard a couple S's, right? Who else? Anybody else has a
I think we
different
all agree.
opinion?
Yeah, I think
we all
I think
agreed.
everybody's
One of my earliest, most happy days was when I finally beat my dad at chess as a young kid.
Wow.
Dude, my ex-wife found this really nice glass crystal chess set at a garage sale one time. Picked it up for like $5, right? Glorious little thing. So her and I, when we first got married, all we had was a dining room table, right? In our base housing. And so we were sitting there playing chess one night, and I was drinking wine. And we played like 3 games. And about the 3rd game, I was probably about a bottle and a half into a glass of wine. I no bullshit. You beat her in like anywhere from like 6 to 8 moves. I can't really remember right now.
Wow.
But she refused to play with me from then on
Oh.
out because I checkmated her in 8 moves. She's like, "This is bullshit. You're drunk as shit. How did you just do?" Oh my god! Don't ask me.
See, my husband taught the boys to play when they were very, very young. So they just loved it. And we have one of those. We have a marble chess set that's black and gray. So
Oh,
they
nice.
love it. Yeah.
I have
Hell
one.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in storage. I have one I got in Tunisia. It's a really, really cool handmade.
Ooh,
Fucking,
neat.
Oh
yeah,
hell yeah!
very cool
Nice.
set.
Nice.
Oh,
All right. The communist checkers.
yes.
I have never played this game. I have no idea how it's played. It's too commie for me.
I love Chinese checkers. But I can't put it in S tier. I think it's an A tier game. It's another one that's really easy to learn. I had the crappiest of crappy Chinese checkers sets when I was a kid. It was a box that opened up, and it was a piece of cardboard in there that was like they had little holes in it, and then you had all the marbles that sat below that. But basically your objective is to get your marbles to the other side first, and I can't remember when you jump the other marbles. I think that puts them in a timeout for man. I can't remember exactly, but I know it's pretty easy to learn how to play the game.
I know my kids played it in the after-school program at that they had after school. I mean, duh. But I mean, when they were kids, I never played it myself, but they seemed to enjoy it.
It has so many.
Yeah, I never played it.
You know that you're losing one of those marbles eventually, and then it kind of shoots the. I mean, that player being able to play. So.
Well, we're all on YouTube, so clearly we've lost our marbles.
That's awesome.
Oh, there's so many layers to that. I love it.
It's like an onion. You just keep peeling it back.
The Game of Kings, King Candy.
Yes. Adam.
Beautiful.
That looks like something that'd be like out of a weird version of like Warhammer 40K. Like you've got all the tanks and the soldiers in the background, and like the one super soldier, right? Like the Khazar or whatever it is that comes in. He's like, yeah. By the way, I also in my spare time I bake cupcakes, but I can also like murder the shit out of everybody. So that's just how it goes.
Somebody's all like, "Who asked for this DLC?"
Oh, that's fantastic. Were you working on that Extra Zero?
Yeah,
That was you.
Multitask,
Why is this not on
multitask each
Twitter?
time.
I gotta watermark it, and then it'll be there.
Hey, if I could pull off drinking and listening to an audiobook and talking to you guys at the same time, trust me, I'd be doing it. Just wait though, I'll be editing videos later. So.
All right. So what did everyone feel on this one?
I mean, honestly, with Chinese checkers, I'm kind of a B with that one, just because I honestly I've never learned to play it either. So I'm kind of like Tina and Adam. Like, I know of the game. I've seen it like every combo box of like basic games with like checkers and chess always comes with Chinese checkers. Every one of those I bought, I've never bothered to learn playing Chinese checkers. So I'm gonna call it a B for me anyway. I mean, I get
iconic again. You never even played it.
Yeah, Iconic's for a thing for me. All right, Adam, you got your sweet little memories that you can like as in the corner while you're drinking your beer. You know, kind of not 1, 2. You know, but like no, Iconic is a thing for me. Okay, common nerd. I like iconic things.
Okay, Adam.
There's like 2 games here that aren't iconic. Sorry.
Okay,
no,
Tina, how do you feel?
I think it's.
I'll do the same.
I mean, I hate to give Jeremy some credit, but he does say that Chinese checkers was fun because you could play it with 5 people, and there's a lot of games that you can only play in groups of 2.
That's true.
So that gives it, that moved it from a C to a B for me.
Okay. Zero, where do you?
I was gonna say I could do a B on it. I do have fond childhood memories of it, but I'd be comfortable giving it a B. I'd having it next to Boggle.
And then Adam, where were you? Somewhere at the bottom, I'm guessing.
I'm gonna do the right thing and abstain from the vote because I'd never fucking played it.
Okay, so B.
Yeah, I'm willing to say B too, just because of the 5-player aspect. I'm like, I didn't realize that. I'm always down for multiplayer. I got a 5th kid on the way. I need multiplayer.
He's going right over to Walmart for just on board of Chinese checkers.
Biggest one you got.
Shoots and Ladders, another one of those ones that when you're a kid, it's like iconic. You
So
play
much
it.
fun.
What's the British name for it? It's like snakes and something.
Snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
Oh, is it snakes and ladders? Oh, okay.
Why were they trying to terrify their children? What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Somebody said yesterday that it came over from Egypt, but then Dermy looked it up and it was India,
That
right?
wasn't true.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah, I remember Dermy. We did have that conversation last night, didn't we? I was really high. Adam's like, that's why Adam asked me to help him out producing and stuff like that, because he's like, I'm gonna get wasted as crap. You're just baked as shit. I know you can still end the stream. I'm like, I got you, boss.
At least you have the capability of in the stream.
I just love there was that one really long ladder that was like right up at the top that took you all the way down to like level 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
right.
It just sucks so bad when you hit that. Oh,
yeah.
But like
it would be the shoot. You don't slide down the ladder.
Oh yeah, the slide. The slide was on the ladder. That's right.
It was good teaching kids how to lose, but
Yes.
still be able to catch up. You know what I mean? Because you never know who's going to land on a shoot. So
It was frustrating as hell. Yeah, every single time you come near that one towards the top, and it is like, it's nerve wracking. I remember that as a kid. I'm like, oh dear God, no, not again, no.
Don't roll a 3. Don't roll a 3.
See, shoots and ladders, I didn't play all that much as a kid, but I could be argued into an A or a B for that one for all of the reasons not only you guys said, but my X factor always. But yeah, no, I agree with that one. It's one of the first ones we really started to learn to lose in. So
yes,
I like that.
I haven't
It's
played
a good
it
next step up from Candyland.
and risk and reward because Candyland there's very little risk and reward factor with shoots and ladders.
It's basically just whoever gets the better whoever gets the
Yeah.
better dice roll. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was cards with Candyland, right? You drew cards, and it gave you like a color or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, so my point is that I haven't played this as an adult, but I feel like I would still play it as an adult. I think I would still have fun with it, especially if you're playing with kids. If I was to play Candyland, I'd probably be mind numbed and be begging for the game to fucking end. But
Turn it into a drinking game, Adam.
I could see it as a drinking game too. I could absolutely see it as a drinking game. Yes, I want to.
Every time you hit the ladder to go back, you have to take a shot.
Yes, I'll put it at S tier. I'll put it at S tier. I think it's a great game.
Holy shit! I wouldn't go
Yeah.
that far. Holy god.
But my point is because it was an iconic, amazing game as a kid that I loved the shit out of, and I could see playing it now too. So that's why I put it above Candyland.
I can't give it an S, but I do agree with the arguments. You know, but for me, I was never going to put Candyland in an A. So I don't think it should go. I don't think it belongs in S tier, but I definitely don't think it belongs anywhere below an A tier for all those reasons.
I can be argued into an A tier pretty easily. I don't know, but Tina, you can take me either way. Don't take that the wrong way.
Kinky.
Not a problem. Mr. Bojan's watching, so I gotta behave.
Good.
Yeah, right. Like that ever matters. But I think I'm happy with an A. I wouldn't put it above Candyland. So
Right.
from iconic perspective.
Okay. So
Thank
we
you.
have
Fuck this
shit, I'm out.
Adam's got his buttons too. We've all got our buttons.
Okay, so I lost count of who said what. We
We're
got
all
got
A tier. A tier.
Devils at this point.
Outside of that.
God, who the hell cares?
I was trying to find the other people's memes so we could bring them up too, because I want to show everyone's memes. Jonathan Davis got some and stuff like that, so I was just trying to multitask, but I'm bad at it. So
Oh dear God, damn me.
what did everything? Oh,
Here, I've got the memes up. So here, we'll go ahead. We'll do a quick little get ranked meme break.
Yeah, my wife out in the chat, she's like, you have to pray for the Sugar Plum Fairy card first off in Candyland so it doesn't take too long.
Of course, we've already shown Kenza's. Whoever eats the most balls is the winner.
Oh, yeah, which is always going to be Dermy.
No,
poor
Adam,
looks.
he's got
Never.
you.
Never.
boy, am I glad to be all the way over to one side.
He's like, I don't want to be this close to Dermy's nuts.
Then
For once, I'm glad I'm not in that one.
Oh my God.
Dermy!
Handy
I
ass.
can't believe you posted that shit on Twitter, dude. What the... Hey, you know what? I got to give Dermy points for one thing. That little SOB has no shame, okay? Like, literally no shame in any way, shape, or form. So, that's the only compliment you get from me, Dermy.
I am
At
proud
least-
of my internet son.
Is it just me, or does it look like he's whipping it out to Minnie Mouse and she is not complaining?
Yeah. He's exposing himself to Disney
You gotta-
characters.
You got to think about it, though. She's only been exposed to Mickey Mouse for literally 100 years. So, of
She'll
course, anything would be an upgrade from that.
Dumbo looks really confused.
He's got a
That's
trunk
not
in
a
the wrong
trunk.
place.
He's looking for the feather in his trunk.
the rabbit from the Tea Party. He's the only one that's like shocked and alarmed.
I don't know, man. Alice is staring at it pretty hard, too. Good old Dopey looks like he's already got some.
Pluto looks like he's propping it up there. You're ready for some action.
Peter Pan's trying to signal Chris Hansen.
It's all, see, the dog is looking at Sleepy or looking at Dopey, looking like, oh, I know what you just got. Yeah, let me put that ass up in the air. I want some of that too.
How you doing? All right. Can you have a seat over in that chair, please?
Oh no.
Even Daffy's looking.
Shit. All right, sorry.
Let's move on.
All right, Clue. Now this is one of my favorites. I love Clue.
Yeah.
I love this. Was my favorite board game to play as a kid.
Did anybody have the video version of Clue?
No,
No, I didn't think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, there was.
Did
a
you guys ever see
VHS.
them?
Well, yeah,
The movie? Yeah, the movie.
yeah.
Well,
Genius.
You guys never saw the movie?
Yeah,
I've seen the
is
movie.
so
I haven't
good.
seen the movie.
Oh
hasn't
my
seen the movie?
god, yeah. Dude, who hasn't seen the movie?
No, he said there was a VHS version
Yeah.
of the game.
Oh, of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
didn't know
okay.
that
I thought we were talking about the
existed.
VHS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when I was a
That's
kid,
kinda cool.
we had this, but it's the Clue VCR mystery game,
Mhm.
and yeah, I can't remember for the life of me how this thing worked, but it was pretty cool for its time.
Oh.
And I remember when I was a kid, we watched the movie with Tim Curry, and then we also had this, and we made a day of it. It was a fun rainy day that I remember.
That's
Huh?
You guys ever
Oh,
played
yeah.
Nightmare or Atmosphere?
No, don't.
It
Nightmare
doesn't
Nightmare
sound-
was a VHS interactive game, and then they came out the sequel called Atmosphere, where it was DVD, so you could actually select. Yeah, it was a nightmarish game, and you'd have this guy called I can't remember his name, but he'll pop on, like if you turn the lights down real low, he'll do fucking jump scares all the time. That's like an S tier game for me as a fucking
that's
kid, dude.
cool.
It's fucking
Hell
fun as
yeah.
shit. It scared the
Cool.
shit out of you too.
Yeah. no.
But yeah, for Clue though,
Clue is S tier for me, just because I just loved it so much. It was my
Yeah.
favorite game as a kid.
Yeah, I can easily be argued into an A tier for Clue pretty easily, just because that is a game that's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of replayability. Once again, it doesn't
Mhm.
take a lot for people to get into it, and there's an incredible movie with Tim Curry in it. And also, when I was a senior in high school, one of the kids' dads actually got the rights to turn this into a theater production, and we actually were the first ones to do it in our high school. And of course, I was one of the actors in it. So yeah, I don't even remember
So
who I played
jealous.
anymore. I don't remember Mr. Mustard or Mr. Green. I don't remember.
He did
Was
an
ever-
iconic Scarlet.
Nah, no, but trust me. Well, my wife's in the chat. I can't talk about Scarlet.
I think in the recent adaptation, because it's still selling today, they're actually
Oh,
I
yeah.
think changed Colonel Mustard to a girl, so they're sex changing even.
Yeah.
I remember.
now.
I remember reading that article like 2 years ago. This is why I drink.
well, Risk is probably a bunch of bitches now too.
No shit. It's all female generals and female colonels and
It's all
shit.
just purple-haired lesbians fighting.
Yeah.
each other.
Your characters start off on one side of the board, and you have to conquer the patriarchy.
It ends with you beating Andy No in court and the lawyer.
Oh, that's a deep dig. Yes,
Ah.
I'm okay with it though.
I
love it. I love
love
Andy.
Clue. The one thing I'll say, one of the things I really like about it is that the game it's semi-complex, but the games only last about an hour.
Yeah.
But that said, I feel like it's a game that if you can't really play over and over and over with the same group of people. You have to really diversify it. For that, I can't give it an S tier. I say A. But if you're playing with a new group of friends, like, hey, let's have a board game night, and you bring over people you don't really know, it's a great game to jump back into.
Oh yeah.
I'm on the fence about putting it into S tier. I think that it is a very fun game. It does make you think. There's a lot of thought put into it. I want to put it in S tier, but I feel like I'm on the fence on it.
Tina,
Tina said
I-
S, right?
I would
Yeah, she's
prefer S,
solid.
but I'm comfortable with an A.
sounds like
And
3 A's
zero.
to me.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I said A. I
Yeah.
can't put it in S just because, I could play checkers and chess with the same people over and over and over, and it's a game of iron sharpens iron. Like, if you're playing checkers or chess, you can only get better with that person. When you're playing a game of Clue with the same 4 people, you're
Yeah.
not really going to get anything out of it with replays. Like I said, you have to diversify your player base in order to keep it enjoyable.
No, you just gotta get clever at cheating, man. Trick them away from the table. Look at their cards.
Throw on some playing cards. It'll really screw people up.
If you're not cheating, you don't want to win too much.
Wow.
Code names.
I know
The
nothing
devil,
about
I
it.
have
Never heard
to.
of it.
D
Not
tier.
familiar to me. It doesn't
Now
sound
we-
familiar
Yeah.
to me.
We own this one. My wife loves the game. I've actually never. I've only played it once, so I remember having fun. But you have to. It's a game where you have to solve puzzles. I don't really remember too much about how to play it, but I did have fun with it. I'd say I'd probably give it a C. I'd have to put it in the same category as Catan.
And everyone else said D, right?
Never even heard of
You
it.
guys didn't even heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Yep.
Yeah, neither had I. It's one of those things where I look at lists other people have made, articles and stuff to try to get an idea of what is popular by sales and all that stuff, so I can kind of make a informed decision. But there's some of them I had no idea what they were. Story about Monopoly.
I'm just thinking about that Family Guy parody of the Monopoly guy in jail is like the parody of Shawshank Redemption. It's like Morgan Freeman going like, "I'd like to say that the Monopoly guy fought the good fight and beat the sisters, but prison's no fairy tale."
Dude, so I mean, so talking about Monopoly, I know it's coming up after this, but do you guys you aware that that Mandela effect that everyone remembers him having a monocle, but he actually never had a monocle?
I don't.
I think that was a mix.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Extra Zero.
I was gonna say I don't ever remember him having one in Monopoly, but I thought he did in Monopoly Junior.
I recall him having a monocle.
Yeah,
in
me
in
too.
every fucking game.
Yeah.
I kind of remember I kind of remember the monocle too, but I also think the fact that Mr. Peanut, who did have a monocle at the exact same time, there was a lot of huge commercials at the exact same time for Mr. Peanut and Monopoly in, like, at least for me, the early 90s. So considering the top hat and everything else, I could see how any of us easily got that confused.
No, we're from a universe where he had a monocle, and we switched into this one where lesbians are taking over the world.
Shut up, Adam. No, we didn't. We're in the exact same cycle as the Old Testament as ever before.
Oh no, I found a Marvel version of Codename, so now I gotta move the score up. No, I'm just kidding.
That Mandela effect, it's kind of funny because that's how it is with Star Wars. And Luke, I am your father.
Yep, he never actually said it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I am your father. Yep. The Game of Life. That's another one that was real fun when you're a kid.
It's still fun as an adult.
Collecting all the little people in your car.
Yeah.
Jesse's living the real life version of that, where his whole car's filled with kids. And
2 years time, we'll be announcing the 6th one.
Wow.
He's making an army.
Hey man, the rest of y'all ain't having kids. Adam ain't having none. I gotta make up for the rest of y'all. We all gotta. Every 2 people needs to have at least 3. What the hell else am I supposed to do? I gotta make up for the rest of y'all.
I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You guys don't
Life,
want
I would
kids.
have to give.
That's in times.
Oh, no, yes, we do, Devil. Trust me. If you're hanging out with us, trust me. Anybody that's willing to hang out with my crazy ass, I all want you to have children and lots of them. But Life, I would have to give I could give Life an easy A on that one. We've all played it. It's a lot of fun. The replayability aspect of it is really high. Yeah, I would be comfortable giving. I could probably argue down to a B if anybody had any real objections. But I would say a solid A for Life.
Yeah, I'm with that. And funny here,
I think I've even played the mobile version too.
Yeah,
I know Zero talked about that earlier. I think I played the mobile version of Life as well.
I did too, and it had some fun. It had like a fun anime. Actually, no, I had that Hasbro Game Night collection on Xbox 360. That was the one I played. Where the kids will drop into the car. It was a neat animation. And Dermy was right. I would always win because I didn't go to college in the game.
Yeah,
I would always skip college.
It sucked when you got the good job, the one like the Rockstar or whatever that paid the most, and then like halfway through the board, it made you re-roll your job, and you're like, no. And you end up as plumber or whatever.
I guess I don't think I played it very much. I don't. We didn't have it in my home. I think I only played it at other people's places. I think one of my aunts had it. But I can definitely recall just like never getting excited about playing the game. It's not that I didn't like it, but for me there was never any excitement. I would put it at B. I don't think for me, I don't think you could go higher than B.
Actually, now that I think about it, like when it came to spoiler alert for Trouble and Sorry, I would always want to pick pick Trouble or Sorry over the Game of Life. So maybe I think it would be a B. Just because thinking of like what would I pick?
I'll say for the replayability as an adult. Now, again, I only played it as a kid, so I think it was just like the adult factors of it probably bored me. I don't know. I guess if I try to play it as an adult now, maybe I'd find it even more entertaining than it did as a kid. But I can't really judge that because I haven't played it in so long.
It's been about 10 years since I last played it. We had a board game night, and we were just kind of like dusting off classics to see what still held up. And I still had a good time with it, and it's an interesting game, to play as an adult because it gives you additional perspective on the choices and all, and just how things have aged and dated. Because we were playing a version from the late 80s, early 90s. And
you get pissed when you have to pay the taxes.
Yeah. But I don't think it's anywhere below a B. I'd settle with an A, but I think it probably falls more in the B class.
Okay. And B, Tina, where did you?
I would think B for me too.
B. Okay, so I think we got mostly B's. Okay. So Game Alive.
Have you guys ever seen the wooden case versions of all these games?
Yes, those are really
we
nice.
We have 2 shelves of them in my son's room still because my boys were so into board games. And they still every
Nice.
once in a while when my nephew who comes over who's the same age as them and they'll still sit down and play Risk or something like that. I love it.
I love that a lot of these games also have, like you were saying with the Marvel one, they also have like, kind of ones that are like Life. I think they had one where it was like Friends or something at one point, and like, they got all.
And I think there is none more than Monopoly. I don't think there's any of them out there that has more. There's a Lake of the Ozarks variation of Monopoly, which I'm pretty sure
they
here
did
Lake
it
of the Ozarks, but
they did it for all over the country. Like small towns could get them.
Yeah. I had a Star Trek one. I'm ashamed of this, but when I was in junior RTC in high school, I had a Navy one because we went to a Navy base. I bought the Navy one. Now I'm ashamed of it. But I have so many variations of Monopoly. I think there's probably not a game, even when I was a kid and I learned how to play, I think this is a game that helped me learn math. I was so fucking good at it. My sister would never play against me because I always demolished her. She never had a chance. This is by far the biggest S tier for me.
We had a Chicago Cubs version of Monopoly.
Oh man.
The only reason. Go ahead. Has everybody else gone?
No, zeros.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't hate me on this one, but it's a void for me.
Oh,
this shit, I'm out.
What?
Everybody had fond memories of Monopoly till they play Monopoly again. When was the last time you all played Monopoly?
Dude, I have a board right there.
But when was the last time you sat down and played it? Because it's a game where it takes like 4 or 5 hours to sit down and play a full game. And man, oh man, does it test patience.
Those are a good 4 or 5 hours to me.
Well, see, and that's what that would be my argument for it for an A tier, is because how many times have you actually finished a game of Monopoly? I think I might have legitimately maybe finished 2 or 3 in my life and probably started 100. Okay, so that's my only reason why it's not safe. Well, I never really had that problem, mostly because I was either playing with my kids or playing with adults. But it's one of them situations where that's why I wouldn't put it on an S tier, because it does take so damn long to actually finish unless you play the modified version, which of course changes a whole lot. Right. But for a proper game like that, yes, it's very accessible. It's very iconic. Like everybody said, there's been a million versions of it. I'm pretty sure I had the Fortnite version of it, which was absolute shit, by the way, which is another reason why it should be in the A tier. At least because of the fact that a lot of the versions that they come out with are not just Monopoly themed versions. They want to change the rules of the game and make it stupid and ridiculous. So that's another reason why I would at least push into the A tier. But yes, the fact that you've had I think I probably had the Star Wars version, I think at one point.
Yeah.
I've had several different versions of the Monopoly game over the years, but yeah. The Fortnite version was the biggest waste of $35 that I ever spent on one of my kids for Christmas. So yeah, Monopoly in their modern form can kiss my big furry Mexican ass.
But Adam had the Navy version. he would have got the Air Force version, which is all the properties are all like expensive, high class. They're all like boardwalk level.
Exactly. That's exactly how the Air Force works.
So instead, he got the Navy version, where in order to buy a property, you have to swallow an entire banana without choking. Which for the Army, they only have to get it halfway down, so he wasn't too far off.
Look, man. Okay, well, I will argue your point about it taking too long to play. Here's the thing: is that some people don't understand the game. It doesn't have to go until you lose all your money. You just obviously there's gonna be that point where somebody owns like all the fucking shit, right? Like there's no way you can land without landing on someone's fucking hotel. And at that point, that's when you just got to file for bankruptcy and fucking call it quits. You don't got to keep on going forever. That's how the game is supposed to go. Eventually, you just say, okay, man, I give up. But I'm still sticking with S tier. And it sounds like Tina, you're agreeing with me, right?
I'm S tier. I could be talked down to an A, but S tier I like because of for me the X factor is all the different versions of it. That was
exactly, and that's perspective. I agree. I think that's the X factor. It is such an incredibly popular game that every fucking town in America has their own version of it.
Yeah, the Chicago Lapoli, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I mean, is it a thing that's more of like a display piece? Like, yeah, we have Monopoly, or is it a game that my question's always been, is it a game that people legitimately enjoy playing? And it was like, for me, it was like I had my Star Wars Monopoly back in the day. And I even resisted buying Transformers Monopoly because I just know what I'm getting into with it. It's just going to be a thing that just sits on a shelf and never gets played, So,
what's up, kiddo? Hey, hey.
It's like, are we going to play Monopoly?
She's saying it. S tier.
Hey, so I'm just saying, to split the difference, all I'm saying is between a guy that's willing to get an A tier, two people that are willing to give it an S tier, and a guy who's like, man, fuck this game. I'm like, I think an A is fair. Iconic X status.
I won't budge on mine out of principle, but I recognize that I'm being overruled.
So it's S tier. It's funny because I think the guy who created Monopoly, I think he was like big time liberal, and he made it to actually be like a critique of capitalism and stuff.
And it failed miserably.
Yeah, people actually enjoy it because
they made a socialist Monopoly.
Fuck that. Throw it into the void. Fuck that shit.
See, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Not kidding. Still a fun game. I love that it backfired on that asshole.
Dude, that's God. That's God, man. That's God using people to go, hey, you think this is funny? You think you want to be critical? Look, watch this. We're gonna peek. Joke's on you, motherfucker.
Wookie B. Bad strolling down to the game board dressed as Uncle Sam.
I like played as the government. There you go. No shit.
You always win. Government always wins.
Taxation is theft.
60-second break.
Sure.
Yeah, go pee, Adam.
They
I'm out in my garage. I just had to open
to have more memes. Jonathan Davis,
yes.
If you're watching.
Drop more.
He hasn't dropped any more. I did post the Adam one.
Oh,
but
man, yeah, they before he gets back, next up, Mousetrap. Do you guys ever? I remember Mousetrap like as a game, but I don't remember how to play it.
Oh, dude, I played the Hades out of that game. That was one of the ones my grandmother bought me at a garage sale, and it all still worked. I had all the pieces, and I was smart enough to get all the traps together, and I loved the hell out of that game. It ain't. I mean, it's one of those. I would only give it an iconic status. Like, I would say A, but I could be argued down to a B, just because the only reason I think it's iconic is because of those amazing commercials that it had in the 90s.
Yeah. There was a game that it's not on this list. I don't know if you all heard of it or ever played it, but it was similar to Mousetrap. It was called The Grape Escape.
Grape Escape.
Yeah. And it was a board game where you played it with Play-Doh. Let me go ahead. We'll pull it up here so I can show y'all. But it was interesting because you would do horrible things to your little grapes. They get cut in half. So you had a little mold that you made your little Play-Doh grape character out of, and the whole thing was that they weren't, you didn't want to get turned into grape juice.
I think I remember that because I think the commercial had the kid pound it like he smashed it with his fist.
Yeah, like there was a thing there that would like cut you in half.
What's it called?
The Grape Escape.
Never heard of it.
That is funny.
And yeah, there's one that like turned you into like a waffle. Launch
cute.
it. So yeah, they ended up. I think I had the one from '92, and I specifically remember the scissors and the foot, and the little roller. So it was a more sadistic version of Mousetrap.
Oh, that was kind of hard to find, but hey, there you go.
Yeah. This thing here where it was like a little psalm.
Oh my god.
The roller. And it was just it was cool. It's like they definitely don't make them like they used to. That
they don't.
Yeah. Now the thing was, when we played that game, it was just more fun to lose, so you actually got to use the little torture devices.
Sounds like my kind of game. What are you doing in my dungeon next weekend?
They're asking serial killers, did you start off killing animals? They're all, no, I started off playing Grape Escape.
Jeffrey Dahmer presents Grape Escape.
Oh no. Oh no. Dermy says his victims never escape.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Lord. Now I
can see jars in a basement and just like so many things that I probably
all mounted on tiny chairs.
Yep. He's got
while
like
he plays Pokemon.
He's got the plaques on the wall, but instead of like deer heads, it's back tacos of his victims.
Oh god.
Instead of having little blood slides, he's got all the back tacos on little microscope slides so he can look at them all the time.
I went to go get a snack. You assholes are making me lose my appetite.
You're welcome. Drink more. You don't need an appetite.
Okay, so back to Mousetrap, where you said A common for Mousetrap?
I'm arguing an A, yeah.
Oh, you guys debated
just because I've got a lot of good,
Tom?
I've got a lot of great memories with that game. So,
well, we figured if Common was able to talk before you got back, he could actually finish what he was saying, and you wouldn't shoot him down. So,
have you watched my videos? Like, I extemporaneous speak for like 12 minutes. Okay.
No, I was critiquing more that Adam, every time you say why you think something should be somewhere, he's all, really? And then shits on your choice.
Yeah, you ready for this one? You're fucking wrong. It's D tier. That game was garbage.
Well, see, and this is much like what Dermy put out in there in the comments. He's like, I never could get that game to work right. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, Dermy, you didn't know how to follow instructions, read properly, and actually put it together. That explains the ASVAB score that got Adam into the Army versus where I was in the Air Force. So that explains a lot. I understand why you think this game is dumb. I completely feel you, brother. It's okay. I still love it.
Here's my point. It's like, I realized this as a kid. If you take away the gimmick of all the little fucking contraptions, it's just a race around the board. That's all it is. It's just a race around the board. The whole fucking contraption thing is just a way to sell an
extremely
simple game. It's a super simple
game.
You
could say the exact same thing about Ninja Warrior. Ninja Warrior is a very simple game with a lot of major obstacles in between you and the end of the board. You could literally make that exact same argument.
I will say the one thing about Mousetrap that
I don't even know what game you're talking about, Jesse. But go ahead, Dexter.
You don't know what Ninja Warrior is?
It's an obstacle course game, but the thing was,
the show.
Yeah.
Like Mousetrap.
That's a game of fucking physical skill. It's not the same damn thing.
Like
a board game is a game of physical skill. You're throwing dice, dude.
Let X0 talk, you rude asshole.
Yeah, look who's starting, motherfucker. Extra zero. I yield my time to the floor.
Well, I was gonna say, like the thing was with like Mousetrap is a race to the end, but my issue with it was we would set it up and it was made out of cheap plastic. Even in the 90s, it was made out of cheap, shitty plastic to the point where like you would get to what was supposed to be a payoff and the contraption wouldn't work. So I did have that same problem that Dermy had. So it's like when you're playing the game and you're playing it right, like Grape Escape, I was mentioning, like we just kind of fucked around and you wanted to like squish the grapes and basically turn the game into my first torture chamber. Mousetrap was like, hey, I want to see this little tiny Rube Goldberg machine work, and they have like the shittiest little marble, and they didn't cut the. So if you know anything about toy or model making, you remove things from a plastic sprue. Sometimes these pieces weren't cut off the sprue properly, and so like the little ratchet on the cage wouldn't work right. And it was like, ah, man, I played this game and the payoff just doesn't even land.
Mm-hmm. So I guess mine was built on a Wednesday, and the rest of y'all guys got Monday and Friday versions.
I feel bad because when I originally was supposed to be Horror Amarada, and she's into blood sports, but here's Tortina, she's watching Adam and Common beat each other up over games. I feel kind of bad. It's like
hey, it's not our fault she couldn't be here.
I'm enjoying myself, so no worries.
Hey man, you ever need me in, ever back in for a fill-in? I'll make some bullshit up and argue over games anytime.
Okay, so we Adam was a D.
I'm saying D. Yeah.
And then you said A. What did you say, Cyril?
I'm gonna put it in D tier.
And then Tina, where do you feel about it?
I have to say D tier. I remember owning it, but we never played it, and my kids never owned it, so it wasn't a big thing for us.
Mousetrap is in D. Okay, next up, the most frustrating game ever. Operation. I hated that.
Sometimes you're just walking down the path alone because you know it's the only proper direction forward. No, Operation was a great one. Like, I don't know how many of us didn't play this game. The only reason I would argue for it to be in like a B tier versus an A tier is just because like once you kind of figure out the premise behind it, like how much replayability is it? It's kind of like what Adam said about, or whoever it was said about Clue earlier.
That was me.
If you don't, Zero. Thank you. Zero said about Clue earlier. It's like once you've kind of the only difference with Clue is you can change your friends and it have that same kind of thing. But if you're a guy that's played Operation, if you own Operation, you can pretty much beat all your friends at it because you've all had a lot of practice. So I would probably argue Operation B or C. It's iconic, yes, but it doesn't have a whole lot of that crazy kind of replayability like a lot of these others do.
I hated the noise, man. That shit you felt in your spine. That zzz. Oh god, I hate that.
Well, you're supposed to hate the noise. I think the thing though about Operation was, I feel like when you first start playing it, you kind of like, I think every kid like made their own rules. Like, hey, we're just gonna take turns and remove the parts. But when you play Operation right with the cards and everything, I think it becomes a much more fun game. So I think that it was like the first game I remember playing that had like its own like kind of easy mode, if you will, that you just kind of made up. I do think it belongs in B tier just because again, like once you get good at it, you're good at it. But the other problem is if you lose a piece in that game, it's not like you can just easily fix it. Like if you lose a piece in that game, and back in the day, your cardboard boxes would get beat up, and you get yelled at if you're going and taking sandwich bags. So you would lose, like you'd always lose like the funny bone or the little rubber band, the specifically sized rubber band that you had to remove. So
they make a lot of different ones too. Like I remember they did one for Shrek. I can't believe they don't have a Transformer one for Poor Zero, where you have to get the Allspark out of Optimus's chest.
It'll just be all gears.
Take pieces out, yeah. And Hasbro owns it, or no, it's Milton Bradley, so never mind.
All right, so where do we think it lands?
I put it at B tier. I agree that it's a game that there's not a lot of replay to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tina, where you
I
feel?
put it at C tier because I blame this imperfection for giving me lifelong anxiety. So, so I do have to tell you though, I played a trick on my sisters because I was the oldest, and pretended that the plastic tweezers weren't there, and then gave them mom's metal tweezers as they all like zapped themselves.
That deserves almost A tier just because of that.
Tina was cruel, man. Instead, like the grape thing, she's all like, "That's not deep enough for me. I want some real torture."
Exactly.
You gotta change your name to Badass Bojan. I would even consider to go down a C tier. I mean, it was fun as a kid, but yeah, it gets old.
Yeah, I say
Okay.
C.
Zero, where are you?
I would say I'm fine with the C.
Fine with C. And common C2 or
Yeah, I said early on that I could be easily argued into a that's a C is perfectly fine with me too.
okay.
Wait, we
Next
agree?
up-
No, fuck that S tier.
Shut up. That best
There
you could
will-
argue me into is a B on that one.
There will be no peace.
Not
Okay.
in the grim darkness of the far future. There is only war.
Pictionary. Now I've heard of it. I don't think I ever played it, so you gotta have to tell me how it
I
works and
hate
stuff.
Pictionary, but I can't draw.
I can.
Is it
draw,
like-
and
Is it like win, lose, or draw, like the game show was, but just on like board form?
This is the one where you have something that you have to draw to get your partner to know what's on the card. You know,
Okay.
for a simple example, would be cars. You just draw a car, and your partner has time to guess car.
Yeah, it's the drawing version of charades.
But
The
wouldn't
reason
that be
I
real
hate
easy?
this game is I feel like I always have a partner that's a complete fucking idiot that has no fucking clue about anything.
But if is it stuff more complex than car? Because that seems like it would be pretty easy.
No,
You know,
it's,
you
it's,
draw a wheel and a car, and
no, it,
Well,
it's,
there's
it's more
different
complicated than
levels.
that.
A lot of the
There's-
time
there's
it's
kid
a
Pictionary and adult.
word.
okay.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's a word, right? So a lot of the time it's a word you have to figure out a way to describe with pictures. So it's not like an object, right? It's not like a car. A lot of time it's like, oh, express the word beautiful in a picture format. It's like, okay,
Oh.
right.
So it's like, or like brake pedal. So you draw a car with an arrow pointing to a certain part and hope
Right.
they
No,
get
it's-
brake pedal type thing.
Sometimes it's even more complicated than that, man. It's like there'll be times you scratching your head like, how the hell do I draw this?
Why is
Yeah,
that
I can't-
penguin shitting on a pine cone, like type thing?
Yeah, like I do know, like sometimes it could be like a phrase. So you have to draw something to make them think of what the word is in the phrase.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds fun, but if you guys don't like it,
No, it's torture. Fuck that.
All right. So
I
where
would
do
just
we?
give it B. I would just give it B tier just because it is an iconic game
'Cause
and
it's
everybody
iconic,
knows
so
it.
it's gotta be C.
Look, I got good memories, man. I had so much fun as a kid when I was still shitting in my diapers and stuff like that. So it was a great game.
Shitting in my diaper and drawing with my poo, so the other babies will know what I'm.
So it was the best game ever.
No, fuck that D tier.
Oh. All right. So we got one B, we got one D, I guess. Tina, you said you didn't like it because
Yeah, I did not like it, but I'm not good at drawing, so I would go C, but I would go D, but would be argued to a C.
Okay. And zero.
I mean, I can draw, but I would give it a C just because when you're part of the fun is playing with people that can't draw, you know. And when we go on vacation, you know, we go with my wife's family. We did a Pictionary night, and it was a lot of fun. Now, granted, I think there are better drawing games like Telestrations, where the whole idea is it's like a big game of telephone, where you know, and you really have to have like a group environment for Pictionary to be fun, but you don't need the game Pictionary itself. Like you can just get a whiteboard or get you know some big sheets of paper. So I'd say C because it's like the least interesting part of the game is the structure of the game itself. I'd almost be willing to give it a D for that at this point. Now talking through it.
So
Join me on the dark
Shit,
side.
you almost maybe want to go a little higher with a B because of its accessibility.
I mean, it does have that, but at the same time, I feel like why not just play charades with drawing and a timer,
Yeah. If it's a
Remind me-
game you could do with a pad of paper, it kind of kills the
Yeah.
whole having to pay for it.
Remind me, Zero, is accessibility part of our rating?
It is not.
Thank you.
But
No,
it
but it is an
it is.
X-
It
it
can be
can
part of
be
your
an X
factor.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be part of your X factor.
No,
And
your
also,
X-Factor-
I'm pretty
you
sure.
can't
I'm
have
pretty
two
sure a lot.
X-Factors.
No, shut the
You
fuck up,
can't
Adam.
have
Because
two
I'm pretty sure a
X-Factors.
lot of people.
No.
I can have all
You
the
only
X
get
factors I
one
want. That's why it's
X-Factor,
called an
asshole.
X factor, Adam. And here's the other aspect of that too. A lot of people agreed on this panel that one of the X factors about checkers was its accessibility, because even if you didn't have a checkers board, you could still lay out a grid pad,
Yeah.
find you some coins, and play checkers. So go ahead, argue the accessibility to me again.
Well, so I think the thing about checkers is that the structure of the game is what's fun. Pictionary, the rules of Pictionary, and how you play it and how you keep score. Yes, you can do it in your own pad of paper, but if you're going to play checkers, you have to adhere to the rules of the game. And that's what makes it fun. The rules of Pictionary, in my opinion, don't make it fun. It's the actual drawing and people not being good at drawing and trying to guess what they're doing and everybody shouting it out. So it's like when you're doing a DIY checkers, you're not going to be modifying the rules so much as you would be in a homegrown game of Pictionary. That's where I differentiate between the two.
With a homegrown game of Pictionary, how different would the rules be?
Let's see.
Outside of maybe having a timer?
I mean, as far as like having the cards, like you have to pick the cards.
Right, but you could make your own cards.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is just because the rules are basic
there
doesn't mean it's like, okay, I don't have to buy the game. Well, I don't have to buy the game of checkers to play checkers either.
The other thing too with Pictionary is there is die and there is a board, and you
Jesse.
also can't use letters or symbols. But I've played with a lot of people who just break those rules anyway. So
Dermy says sometimes it's movie names. Now that might be easy, but if you tried to get Shawshank Redemption, how the hell do you figure that one out? In
Joe guy getting
pictures.
raped in a shower.
The guy eating himself in the library.
I love that you put the dude getting raped in the shower, and somebody's all like, "Dermy's house."
Okay, I'll say this. Like, as Extra Zero was talking, when he started talking about like everyone, people shouting out the names, like their guesses and everything, that brought back some thoughts of joy playing this game. I will concede and bring it up to C tier because there was an excitement level, when everyone's trying to hurry up and shout out all the different things.
So, Jesse? Are you coming down to C to?
I mean, how many C's are we looking at now? If I'm the deciding factor, I might.
I think. Did you have a C extra, or were you a D?
I said C, and then as I thought about it, I moved it down to D. But I can come back up to C. Like there are fun things about it, but I still stand by the board game element of it being the least interesting part of the game.
That's funny. You talked yourself down to a D, but you talked me up to a C.
I told him he talked me up to a B. So, like with the accessibility, all right. So I'm willing. The fact that Extra Zero talked me up to a B, the fact that he talked Adam, I'm willing to go C on this one. Then just to have ourselves a nice little contorium. Now it depends on what Tina says. Then but whatever. Screw her too.
Oh, poor Tina.
Well,
how could you say that? She's everyone's mother.
She ain't my mother, and trust me, she wouldn't want to be compared to mine. Mine's freaking crazy.
while we wait for Tina's response, I've got this gem that I've made.
Oh my
That's
God.
his punishment tonight for disagreeing with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so spot on. What a perfect time for you to come back, Tina. That's a perfect time. That is
Oh my God. Yeah. But, I'm a D, but I'm fine with a C.
Okay, so we got Pictionary on C. All right, next up, this is one of those games you play with your friends and you get intense and you get angry about, and so Risk. How do y'all feel about Risk?
This is a game I love so much. I paid for it on my iPad. I will play against people around the world in different variations of it. I have American version, European versions. When I was deployed to Iraq in 03, we had the futuristic version of it. It's like Risk 2070 something. I love this game. I will say that the setup is it's just it is
especially
just,
the first time setup when you get all the little pieces and all the screws, and
it takes so long just for all the placements. For the enjoyment factor, I would say 2210. Oh, that game was so cool. If it was just the game, like on my iPad, I would put it S tier. The setup for the board game is so monotonous. I can't go S.
Have you guys ever seen the show Undergrads? It was on MTV. Used to be on MTV.
I remember it, but I never watched it.
They had this every once in a while. They would play Risk, and the smart kid of the group. There was 4 of them, and one of them was really smart, and he loved playing it because he always wanted to win, but he would always lose. And the way he ended up losing is he would throw a tantrum and he'd he'd scream Armageddon or Apocalypse or something and just hit the board, throwing everything everywhere. And he'd throw a tantrum because it was the one game other people could beat him at. And I was always like, yeah, I could see feeling that way.
That's awesome.
But okay, so Adam, it sounds like you're an A.
I would love to give it an S. Like I said, if it was just the gameplay, S tier all the way. But the setup takes way too fucking long.
Okay, Tina, how do you feel? Have you ever even played Risk?
I haven't played. My kids enjoy it. I remember my sisters, my cousins would play all the time. Wasn't my favorite thing, so I'd go B, but A is okay.
Common, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm one of those that I could be argued into a C, but I'm willing to accept a B just because, just like some of the other games, it's very iconic, but it's not very accessible. I don't think it's the same level as Risk.
Yeah.
Or I mean, not Risk. I don't think it's the same level as Catan as far as that whole accessibility process, just because it's more iconic and a lot more people have played it. But like as far as all of that kind of stuff, I'm sorry if a game takes me 2 hours to set up, just like I'm pissed off every time I pay $70 for a PS4 or a PS4 or 5 game, and then I got to sit there and wait for 2 hours for the next thing to download. Nah, man, that's a major blow to me. You know, I love Warhammer 40K. And the reason why I'm not playing the tabletop at tournaments is because it takes forever to paint the models and fuck with them. Like, you know, same thing with that kind of shit for me for Risk. So yeah, at least a B tier.
What about you, Zero? How do you feel about Risk?
I'd kind of put it in the same ballpark as Catan because, you know, it's one thing to, like, as far as the accessibility goes, it's like, if you're going to bring in, like, hey, let's have a friendly game night, the people that you're playing with need to know how to play Risk.
Yeah.
So that is a challenge. Like you have to be like, I don't want to say you have to be a dedicated Risk player, but you have to know what you're doing and you have to get a core group together. So if you don't have those friends, good luck.
Yeah. That's true.
And the setup does take a while, and it is a long game. Like the average, like if you know, like the average Risk game. Let me see what it is, but I think it's like it can be like a 10-hour game on average.
Yeah. Which is once again one of my reasons with it. You know, it's obviously an epic game. Everybody knows about it.
8 hours.
Like, I mean,
8-hour game.
8-hour game. I mean, I could easily be argued down into a C just because of that. The only reason I would rank it higher than that is because I do think it's more iconic than Catan is.
Yeah,
a lot of people have a Risk game in their cabinet or in their closet, wherever they hide their board games. But at the exact same time, how many people have actually played Risk all the way through or know its rules, as well as what, like Extra Zero was saying, would require for a bunch of friends to just come over and start playing it? I don't think it's there. Not like compared to the rest of the games we've got.
I mean, if we were looking at stuff like, you know, D&D, and if we were doing like tabletop, I would rank it higher. when I think about tabletop versus board games, I think there's a big distinction, and I think Risk teeters the line of being more of a tabletop game than a board game.
I agree with you on
Yeah.
that one, but I
Good
think
point.
as far as that factor is concerned, I think you could get through a round or at least even a game with a proper DM
Now,
of D&D a lot faster than you could get through a game of Risk.
Yeah.
Like you could get through a proper small scale D&D campaign in 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
If Risk is minimum 8 hours, like that's
It's
not even a
not.
fair comparison.
It's not minimum
I was
8
gonna
hours.
say, I don't remember playing 8 hours.
I played it
or
much
average.
faster
He
than
said
that.
average.
Yeah, that's
average, yeah. I prefer Risk Express, to be honest with you. Like, it's very, very different game, but
Well, there are rules that you can do that can shorten the game. Like you can do you can play like a 15 round minimum. You can do other things like that shorten the game down, so it's not total world domination. So there are variations that will shorten the game.
And you could just take countries off the board, like who needs to conquer France, right? And
exactly.
they just
I mean,
gave up.
everybody's pretty much already done that.
yeah, if France gets conquered, you just tell everybody you're Gaelic.
I mean, honestly, you could pretty much say the majority of Europe is all that way. So you just pretty much conquer all of Europe, leave it up to like Asia, Russia, America, maybe South America and Africa. And, like, we're pretty the only ones that have enough population just on its own to take care of business. So.
All right, so I think I heard 2 B's and a C and A, so I guess B is where it will land. All right. Categories. I don't think I've ever played this one either, so you're gonna have to tell me about this one too. If
I'm
anyone
aware
knows.
of that. I don't think I've ever played it.
Yeah, I've heard of this one a lot. I think as far as I know, I think Categories is one of them not pop culture, but one of them 20 questions kind of games. Where it's basically like if you know random knowledge, you're really good at
Like
categories.
Trivial
Otherwise,
Pursuit.
Yeah.
Trivial Pursuit. Yeah, thank you. Trivial Pursuit kind of stuff. So it's Categories is one of those that's been iconic. It's been around for a long time, but yeah, I haven't actually ever played it either. I played Trivial Pursuit before I played Categories, but I was also in the generation that when we started playing board games, we were also playing what was that one? The Cards Against Humanity.
I like Cards Against Humanity. I couldn't put it on here because it's only cards, but
Well, with categories, you're making lists of words that begin with the same letter. So it's not like Trivial Pursuit in the sense that like Trivial Pursuit's a game that like it like has an expiration date. As generations change, those answers suddenly lose relevance.
yeah, that was one thing I wanted to bring up with Trivia Pursuit.
Yeah. So like I can at least say like Categories is at least an evergreen game, and as language changes, as words enter the lexicon, it still maintains relevance. So
how where you guys put it in with that in mind?
Well, Jesse's not here for me to argue with him, but I would say this is not an iconic game. I don't think it's iconic. I think it's just it's a game that people are aware of.
Yeah.
Iconic, not at all. You guys are talking about has something to do with like the first letter. I had no idea. I have no idea how this game's played. I've never heard anyone ever talk about playing this game.
Yeah. So you do categories, like you do like things that get you fired, and all the things have to start with the letter D.
Yeah.
I've played like maybe once or twice in my life, and I remember having fun playing it, but it's never been a game that's like, yeah, I want to play categories today.
Yeah. I mean, I've abstained multiple times for games that I haven't played, but I mean, I'll put this at a D level because it just it sounds like it has no appeal to me whatsoever.
Okay, so we got 1D. Tina, how do you feel about it?
I would go D also. I've never played, and it doesn't seem interesting to me.
Okay, 0. You down with D?
I'm comfortable with the D because, I'd rather play Boggle or Scrabble if we're gonna play like some word games.
Yeah, there's others in that category that kind of fit. Is Jesse? Are you there, man?
Fuck him. Move on.
Kidding. Okay, we'll hold.
You're a dickhead, Adam.
Dermy plays categories.
Fucking gone for 5 fucking seconds. Gone, get my ass up, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh fuck that guy, man. Fuck that.
So how do you feel about categories?
All right, so what do we got? What do we got so far on
Well,
categories?
you weren't here for
Everyone-
my argument. My argument is this
No,
game.
I actually listened to most of your stupid ass argument. It's not anything new, but that's not the point.
It's not fucking iconic. It's just a game that people are aware of. It's not iconic at all. It's deep.
Oh, my apologies for growing up in the 90s instead of the 80s, where every single sitcom actually played categories. Where I'm sorry, you guys were still playing like hopscotch and run away from the dinosaurs.
Hey, that's a good game.
Yeah, man.
Not all
Teaches you life-
survive.
teaches you life skills, like how not to die.
So where are we at? Tell me where we're at. And I'll tell you where
everyone so far has said D.
Well, fuck
So
them.
you-
I'm going to say a C then. Screw their C's.
Well,
those guys.
it's D. Okay, Scrabble. Now this, I don't play it because, like I said, I'm dyslexic, so this game's off kilter for me. But isn't there like literally leagues that play around the country and stuff? They're intense about this stuff, and
Also, one of the best Mad TV sketches of all time was about Scrabble. It was Ari Spears as Evander Holyfield, Bill Cosby, Don King, and Little Richard all playing Scrabble together.
Mad TV was the best.
Then Don King was cheating and pieces were falling all out of his hair. Bill Cosby and Little Richard are spelling all kinds of gibberish. Evander Holyfield didn't know how to spell, so
The first time my kids played Scrabble with my mother-in-law, and they only beat her one time, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that you won. You guys must have inherited all this from your father because they were so good at Scrabble." I'm like, "What? I was the dumbass."
those underhanded cuts from mother-in-laws.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, for Scrabble, for me, I could easily be argued into an S tier for this one, just because once again, it's an iconic game. But this is also another one that I played on mobile, and I think all of us have had a lot of arguments over this game over the years. So anybody that's ever played this game has had memory arguments over, especially if you played it in the early 90s, of whipping out the dictionary going, "That's not a real word," and going, "Oh shit, yes it actually is," because your friend is the weirdo that collects dictionaries for a hobby. Not that I actually ever had a friend like that, of course. But no, it actually wasn't me. It was actually a friend of mine that actually used to go to antique stores looking for old dictionaries. So I'm gonna give that S or A for me, but like I said, I'm willing to be argued with.
You can't win Scrabble
Except from Adam.
by
Fuck him.
spelling words like cat and tree and stuff. So like I said, I can't really say.
I go B tier. I enjoy playing Words with Friends.
That is Scrabble.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I enjoy playing Words with Friends, which is essentially Scrabble. But to actually sit down and play this on a board, I have very little interest in doing that, and I don't even have that much memory playing it much as a kid either. Which I'm saying is all right. I'll still give it a B, but I can't go much higher.
What about you, Zero? Sorry.
I'm gonna say A. Actually no, I'm gonna do B because the setup of it is, a little bit of a challenge, and just kind of like with Operation,
How is the setup a challenge? How is the setup a challenge with Scrabble? You literally shake the bag full of all the different things, draw it out, and lay it on your thing.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
but if you lose
Right on your
tiles,
dick.
if you lose tiles, it sucks. I mean, granted, if you lose any game piece, it sucks. But I mean, you can break the game just by losing a few tiles. The factor of having to have a dictionary or having to check. I mean, yeah, there's if it's a game that's better played on tablet than as an actual board game, but it doesn't diminish that if you have the board game fresh out of the box, it is fun. I'm just walking through my thought process and rambling here. I'm going to stick with B.
Okay. Tina,
Bears.
aside from mother-in-law cuts, how do you feel about the?
I agree with the B rating.
Okay.
Sacrilege, heresy. I'm gonna burn all of you. Let me call the Inquisition. I am calling the Inquisition right now. They're gonna exterminate us, all of you.
Right. Sequence, another one I haven't played. Can't
No
say
clue.
anything about it.
I abstain.
I think we own this. I think this is another one. I have to go and check. I'm pretty sure we do own it, but I've actually never played it.
Oh, geez.
Not a clue. Void.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Oh, God. So, yeah, do you guys want to keep in Void, or you want to throw it in D just for the
Nah, they're on the void.
Void it?
If void is an option, yeah, throw that fucker in the void.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean it's below D, right? It just means it's
Void
We don't
is
know.
essentially for if you think something either shouldn't be on the list, or if it's so bad that it doesn't even deserve your time type thing.
I mean,
So-
if it's that unknown that literally nobody on this panel knows it, then it belongs in the void. If
I agree.
somebody had actually played it, Extra Zero says he has it, but he hasn't actually played it
I
or has
think
no
we have
memories of it.
But yeah.
Yeah, even that. Okay, so there you go. He thinks he has it. Yeah, that's a no. No, Adam doesn't have any friends.
I do.
Just
Not
like you don't
Dermy.
either, Dermy.
Okay, so Void, I guess it is. Okay, next up. Sorry.
I love this game. I don't think it could go any lower than an A.
I think everyone just had a little evil laugh in their head.
I can't tell you how many of my children's moments of time of day. I wouldn't say lives I've ruined, but like those moments of the like, oh, I'm gonna win, and I'm like, oh, no, I got you.
Evil.
name's
I mean,
Sorry.
that one's easily an A for me, just because of how many good memories I got with the kids and ruining their day with it.
It's named Sorry, but no one was really sorry.
Oh,
It was
no.
just fun to sarcastically say sorry.
Yeah.
That's all of us that know we're truly sadists. Like that's how you know you're sorry was your favorite game. It's like, oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, I would put it in A tier. Great game. I can't be S though. It's fun to fuck with people, but not S.
I
agree
think the
with
thing
that.
about Sorry, and that the thing that keeps it from being an S tier is that especially if you get on a winning streak, you get somebody that's like so butthurt, you're like, man, if we play one more game of Sorry, we ain't gonna be friends anymore.
That's like Uno. Yeah, it's like same straight shit. If I land this guy with another reverse, he's gonna like lose his shit. So,
Yeah. Draw 4 when you're down to that Uno. You just want to jump across the table and stab someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Sorry does that same kind of thing to people.
Tina, how do you feel about Sorry?
I agree that it's an A. It's fun, but it's not S tier.
Okay. Everyone says A. All right. Now here's another one I have not played, Stratego.
I
guys know what that's
love Stratego. I love it.
What is it? How can you explain it? Like how it works?
It's similar to Minesweeper, except obviously it's a board game, but it's only for 2 people, so that's a drawback for it. We had a family of 4 kids, so that was always, so we didn't get to play a lot, but my sons love playing it against each other. And you get these little like player thingies that they have different military ranks. And then there's a bomb that's pretty similar to Battleship, in the sense that by rank you can move forward, and you kind of have to kind of guess where, it's kind of like capture the flag in a sense. You have to kind of guess where their whatever character it is that you're supposed to capture. And I just remembered that if you got a 3 and you go against someone who's at like a 7 rank, then you lose, and then their piece stays on the board. But then if you had a higher rank, then you get to occupy their square, and you're that much closer to their base.
You sold it to Adam with ranks.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the pictures and listening to the description. I think that I could look at this as being like a mix between chess and Risk. Would you agree?
I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
I
really-
have
I really
never
loved
played
it.
it. I have never played it, and I don't know why. I guess I've never even known anybody who's had this game, but I'm very intrigued. I would like to try to play this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's one of them we have in the wooden box for.
So, where would you put it, Tina? Where A, S? Where?
For my personal opinion, for me, it's S tier, but I know it's not as popular, so I would say A or B.
What about you guys? Anybody else?
Yeah, because
Played
another
it,
thing
or-
keeping it from S tier is the fact that it's only a two-player game. So
Yeah.
I would say just for the appeal of how much I like the idea of looking at playing this, I would say B because I can't go much higher. I've never played it, but I would say B would be my guess.
What about you, Common?
D, simply because of the fact that obviously Tina really likes it. Adam's excited about it, but like I've never heard
That's why
of
it's a D.
It
What is
is
it?
so
I've heard of it.
iconic, Jesse. It is so iconic.
That's why it's not getting an S or an A, Adam. It's not iconic. You've never heard of it. You've never heard
I
of it.
have too.
You've never played it.
I've been aware.
Okay, you've never played it. You've never. Yeah, I walked by in Walmart one time and I saw the box on the shelf, so I've heard of that game.
You live a sad existence. You've never heard of Stratego.
Shut up! You've never heard of it either. Be quiet.
Zero, where do you feel?
I've only played it once, and it was years ago. And frankly, I don't really remember it, to be honest. Yeah, and I mean the fact that it just never stuck out to me, I'd be willing to concede and put it in C, just because from the fact that it just didn't stick out to me.
Just to
So
make
we-
Devil the deciding vote, I'll go C too, just because Adam and
course.
Tina's arguments have been valid, but I just want to make
Yeah.
Devil have to vote.
You gotta drag me into this. I like Risk, and I like the idea of that it's a mix of, like, did you say chess and Risk, kind of? Was that
That's what it
two?
sounds like to me. Yeah.
yeah, it's chess and Risk, but the idea is you have to capture the flag.
And I like the idea too. So I'll go B. I'll put in B. All right. Next up, Trivia Pursuit. Now, like Zero said, Trivia Pursuit is one of those games that's really fun, but it seems like you have to buy a new one after 10 years because all the questions have become obsolete. Like, it's all like, who played this character on daytime soap operas? And it's all like, who knows?
I have the
So-
solution for that. Don't buy Trivial Pursuit and buy a new game that's called All of Us. It's
Uh-huh.
basically Trivial Pursuit, except on the card, instead of there being, instead of you having a card of just 5 different topics, well, there's
Mhm.
actually 5 different stacks of cards for the different generations. So
Oh,
then
nice.
you break up in teams and you want to have people from mixed generations, to oppose each other. So you don't want all boomers on one side and all millennials on the other. Yeah, you try to break it up evenly. And then you roll the dice and you indicate whether or not you get to pick what generation, or if the other team has to ask you a generation they pick for you. So if you're a boomer, they'll go, screw that, we're pulling a Gen Z question for you, and you try and answer it. And it's funny because there's a timer and there's 5 questions you have to answer. If you answer 3, you get 2 points, or 1 point. If you answer all 5, you get 2 points. And then you just kind of progress, very similar to Trivial Pursuit, except it's not a long board. I think you only have to gain like 10 points to win a game, so it's easy to just switch teams around and play a second game over and over. But it's really a lot of fun because there's half the people know the answer to something. And they're like, come on. They're trying to give, because we cheat, trying to give clues and make hints, as pretending to cough and stuff like that. And it's really fun because it's trivia, but it's designed so that your generation gets things that apply to you instead of questions that get old, 15 years later.
Poor old grandma gets a
game
Fortnite
of
question.
Risk, I think a game of Risk just ended during that explanation.
Sorry.
So what you're trying to say is Trivial Pursuit sucks unless you buy the updated package every year. But this other new game that none of us know a fucking thing about.
I mean, it
is the
literally
best
just came
version of
out.
it.
It's so much
Tina,
fun.
I'm fucking with you. I'm
I
fucking
know, I
with you.
know.
That does
Okay.
actually that does sound way better than the original Trivial Pursuit. I like the sound of it.
I just
So-
remember my parents played this. They had their friends over and played this, and so I'd be sitting there playing He-Man and saving the world while they were doing this.
Well, we have a Trivial Pursuit joke in the family that whenever there's a sports question, I mean, except for my brother who's big into sports now, we had 3 girls. My dad was never. He was a bowler. Like he never played any other sport all in his life. So the answer to one of these really old 1950s boxing question was Jersey Joe Wilcock. So now every time a question in the sports category gets asked, everybody answers that as their answer because nobody knows.
So where do we throw it, guys? Where do you feel about it?
I enjoyed it, even when I was a kid, and whenever we get to I forget what the topics are, but there's an entertainment topic that bring up movies and stuff. I always get really excited because I'm a big fucking movie nerd, Would I play it a lot? Not really. I can't put it as D, and also not very high, so I think C is a good landing point for me.
What about you, Zero? How do you feel?
I'll agree with Adam on that one. Again, as I've mentioned, the shelf life of the game, but it is fun when it is relevant. It's a fun game when it's within 10 years, 10 years or I guess sometimes too there are older versions they have Trivial Pursuit 80s and 90s, and depending on when you grew up. But again, those are ones that will all eventually age out of. But I don't think it's a D tier game. It's just it's like buying produce. It's like that. It's
What about you, Common?
What did Extra Zero give it? B
He
or
said
C?
C.
C.
He said C.
I mean, I'd argue for a B, but it's one of those things after I listen to everybody's arguments as far as the fact that it ages so quickly. I understand that part completely, especially being a pop culture kind of nerd guy. So it's one of those situations where I would be okay leaving it at a C, just to argue with everybody else instead of being the one obtuse person out being B. And the only reason I would argue B is because of iconic status, because everybody's played Trivial Pursuit even through all of its different generations. But yes, the replayability factor, if you find if the world turns into an apocalypse tomorrow and you find a Trivial Pursuit from 1990, well, you're not going to be able to answer the questions. You're not going to be able to play the game. So,
Child.
I'm good with that.
Well, just to solidify your point there is that, remember, it's not all pop culture. Sometimes you get a topic that you know nothing about and you're completely fucked. So that's why the pop culture questions are great. But when you get those other categories, I might as well just give up.
Well, let's hope that this
Well, it's
year's
not my
version of the
fault you
game-
don't read your fucking history books.
Well, let's hope this year's version of the game doesn't have a biology section.
one of the they changed out one of the
Yeah, right.
yeah one of the one of the things changed out for just what can't you not do during COVID.
Exactly.
So Tina, what did you put it as?
I put it as a C. I enjoy playing it, but it's hard to play now because my parents and I don't know the same things, and then now all of our kids don't know. So,
Yeah, that's a good point. That there's generation. It's a game with generational gaps.
Yeah.
Tina's like, I played the better version with all the updates. So you plebes, go ahead and play Trivial Pursuit. I'm not going to play it.
Okay. Trouble. I always get Trouble and Sorry mixed up. What was
They're
the difference,
similar.
really?
They're similar. With Trouble, I believe when you hop an opponent, you they're in trouble and they have to go back to start. Trouble also had the little the cool thing about Trouble is it had the Pop-O-Matic thing in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And nobody could shoot the dice, so that was pretty
Right.
cool. And it also had and this is all X Factor stuff, but the board itself was this big plastic piece with little cylindrical peg holes in it. So
Yes.
you know, it was like it was a very convenient game as a kid because like you know there was no ambiguity as like what space you were on. You know, there was no cheating with the dice, and you know you were like sorry actively screwing over your opponents. Like you just didn't want to be on their path and get hopped. Or actually no, it was if you got landed on. If you got landed on, you had to go back.
No cheating. Void.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just yeah. Oh, go ahead.
You know, I remember the commercial so well that it's gimmicky. It's the same thing like with the fucking with Mousetrap. It's a gimmicky game. You know, like the biggest thing in the fucking commercial is always popping the dice.
But it's not as gimmicky as Mousetrap because you're trying to get all your you know your pieces back to the home base. Like there is purpose to it. You can screw over the other people, but even though those gimmicks are there, they have purpose and it works.
But my point is that I think that if I had to guess, if someone wanted to do the research, I'll bet Sorry came first.
Well, Sorry is a better game. I'm not going to rank it above Sorry or even on the same level.
My point is they try to make a variation of Sorry by making it gimmicky with like the slots and with the bubble popping thing. Because I even remember those commercials, and I was like, "Oh, look at that! So cool! You just push that down and it shakes the dice." Yeah. It's just gimmicky. It's a gimmicky version of Sorry.
But it's still good. Still very good.
But I mean,
so would you put it like it's C because it's not necessarily as bad as Mousetrap, but it's definitely not as good as Sorry?
I'd put it at a B just because it's like Sorry Express is the way I describe it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, and I guess my point. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Tina.
I say according to Wikipedia, Sorry was based on an Indian cross the circle game called Pachisi, and Trouble was known as Frustration in the UK, and that came out in '65. Where Sorry is obviously much older. Yeah.
And I'll bet they called it Frustration because it's the same thing, kind of like Sorry. You're
exactly
fucking over your friends by knocking them back.
Exactly. Yeah. In the U.S., Sorry came out in 1930, so it's pretty old.
Yeah. And I guess the reason my point is that it's not like I'm willing to knock it down. Like, of course it's fun, but it's fun because Sorry is fun. Yeah. I'm knocking it down because it's gimmicky. I don't know. I'm on the fence on it. Tina, what do you think? What's your opinion?
For me, it's a C.
Okay. And then
I'm thinking put it at C too.
Okay, so we got 2 C's.
I was a B.
You were a B. Common. So where are you, B or C?
I'm a D because I don't know anything about this game. It sounds like a knockoff to me.
Yeah.
So I guess C ends up winning.
Yeah. See. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
We agree. It's a knockoff. Yeah.
They're green. Oh God.
That being said, fuck you, Jesse.
There we go.
Shut up, Adam, or I'll stab you.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
The world is right.
Hey, speaking of Guess Who the fuck is Adam? I don't remember who that guy is.
You've been smoking a lot.
Guess Who? This to me is like Battleship. It was one of those games like the first one people would go for when a blackout happened at school. And they said grab a board game, you'd go and run over and try to get either like Sorry or Guess Who or Battleship because they were quick and fun.
So you can't play this one now, though.
Where you had to? Is this the one where you had to match the faces?
Yeah, you would say like, does your character have glasses? And if they said no, you'd have to knock down all the pictures with glasses.
Right. Okay.
Then
Yeah, you can't play it now because you can't talk about skin color, and you can't just can't answer the question: are they male or female?
My game, it's my table. I'll play any way I feel like.
Is your card a Z?
Good thing that only applies to the character that identifies as a white male. So I don't know who else to put down.
Does your card have glasses? That's so ableist.
Is it a pansexual?
Does it identify as a furry? Well, there's these 4 here that all have ears.
You know how they win? They go, "Is your card a fascist?" And then they have to knock down all of them because there's only like one person on the board who ain't a fascist. To them. Okay, so where do we say it lands?
I mean, guess who's kind of iconic? I mean, that's one of those ones where I remember. I mean, I'm an A or an S tier on that one. We all played it. Like, I remember those commercials forever as far as a kid. So let's have to see how everybody else goes on that one.
I'd give it a B. I mean, it's a fun game to play with kids. It's probably the easiest game on this list to set up because literally all you do is you take your board, and I mean, we don't have. I don't really think it's a board game, but we don't have Connect 4 on here. But even more than Connect 4, it was a game that if you're playing with friends, it was like a quick game to get in, get out, set up, put away. You know, I have a lot of fond memories playing it. And it was always like a game that, like, if you ever made a new friend as a kid, it was fun to play because it was kind of a way to get to know them and get to know how they describe people, how they look to people, you know, that sort of thing.
If they're racist.
Which one's most likely to be a low-income family?
Has your card ever attacked an Asian person?
I feel like B is a good spot for me. I can't really go into. It's fun, and you know, I'm sure you could even play it today. Just not a whole lot of excitement. It is simple. I mean, it's a simple game, but yeah, I think it's kind of mid for me. B is good.
Okay. Tina, where are you?
I go C.
Go C. And Common, where are you?
Are we at two? Are we at a B and a C?
We got two
right now?
Bs and one C.
I'm gonna actually have to go with a B on this one just because of iconic status and I remember all the commercials. So yeah, B.
Okay. And then last but not least, that's the last one.
Dermy
right?
Island.
Yeah. Dermy Island. Okay.
Bunch of
Oh,
gays.
sorry. Fireball
What are you
Island.
Wants the D.
I haven't seen this, but Zero said it's a really fun, solid game. So
this to me is an S tier game, and a lot of people haven't played this game because it was at its time it was one of the most expensive board games that was marketed to like general audiences, and it was gigantic. One of my best friends has a copy of it, and we used to play this game like. He like always wanted it. He would tell us about this game. He'd be like, I used to see the commercials, and you know, for people that are like board game enthusiasts, they would like try and hunt it down. And when we did play it, God, was it a ton of fun.
I remember this.
You're
Yeah,
not
it's good.
helping your argument with Dermy calling you a snob by choosing the richest game, the most expensive game to
Well, like-
put on here.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you, Zero. I was just excited when I saw the picture.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So let me go ahead and I'll share it out here. This was a board game that like looked like something you'd see out of a movie. It has one of the most intense game boards.
Oh, nice.
There are a lot of opportunities. Like the whole goal is you take multiple paths to get. You know, you have to go and get the treasure and get back, and you have opportunities to intercept and screw over the other players. So it's called Fireball Island because you have like this head, and you can rotate it to put the fireballs down. You know, like you can launch fireballs at specific points, and you know your other players can get in the way of the fireballs. They get knocked over, they drop the treasure, they get washed down to certain parts of the map, and then you have the opportunity to get the treasure. It is a very cutthroat game. It's a lot of fun. It's super easy to understand and pick up and play. You have things you can get like this risk reward where you can go and say, okay, I need to get like, so you can get like these invincibility tokens that you can use like once that'll protect you. A lot of fun, and it's just a shame that a lot of people didn't get to play it. There is a cheap version that came out a couple years ago, but it's not this. It's just Fireball Island in name only. which is a shame because this was a really, really, really cool board game.
How big of a box did it have? It looks like it would have to be a huge box.
Let me see if I can find a picture of it. It was a huge box, and it also took up a lot of shelf space at retailers.
Yeah, if I recall, I think I had a friend who had this game, and I didn't play it much, but I do remember it being an awesome fucking game. When I remember when I played it, I loved this fucking game.
Yeah, and there's somebody selling one on Mercari, but it doesn't really give you an idea of the size of the box. It's just a huge box.
What's in the box?
Yeah.
A whole lot of fun.
I did find a picture of a guy that sort of looks like oh god, this guy looks like a Wojak, but I'm going to share the picture. There's an article over on Observer. It's playing this game.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Keep them away from your children.
Another guy playing the game. It's a very, very big game board with big plastic pieces. And the box, I remember it was like very, very big. It was like the size of it, like, you know, it was bigger than a suitcase. We'll put it that way. You know, for playing.
Just all the things like the little trees and everything. It just the aesthetic of it was just it was just all around. It was so much fun. Everything about it. I mean, I vaguely remember, but what I remember was having so much fun fucking playing with it. I would go ahead and just agree with Zero and just put it at S tier for me.
I put a link in the private chat of two guys holding up the box.
Oh, let me get that.
Yes, let's see this.
There we go. Thank you, Tina.
No problem.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, it's
that is a big box
so,
for games.
Yeah, so back in the 80s, like, you know, toys and games had a lot more space. I mean, you know, I don't know if any of you guys know about like the G.I. Joe USS Flag, one of the biggest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the biggest play sets to be released. It's stuff that you can't really get today just because no retailer wants to put this on their shelf. It just takes up too much space for the products. But yeah.
And it's an investment for them because how many people are going to be able to afford it? Like the Flag, how many of those could the store really have when they know that there's only one out of every like 100 kids' parents is going to spend $120 for the Flag, you know?
So see here, this is where like if you get hit by the fireball, you're out for a turn and you got to stay in this little area and then you got to work yourself back up. There's different cards that you got in the game. I hate these sort of pop-up guys. Like you get the magic talisman that stops the fireball. If you get the fireball card, that's the one you want to use because, you know, on your turn you're gonna roll that. Like there's a fake jewel, like you could pass somebody and steal their treasure. Just a lot of stuff in this game. Like I said, it's very cutthroat that made it so much fun, and I just wish that more people got to play. This is one that really deserves like a mobile port, like so people can actually experience it and like you know.
That'd be fun. Yeah, they should do that. Okay, so we sounds like we got 2 S's so far. Common, how do you feel about it, man?
I mean, this is one of those games where I don't know squat really about it. I've never heard of it. I like the idea of really big games and stuff like that. But considering the fact that I was a child literally born either before or I was in my single digits when this game came out, and the fact that I've never heard of it, I'm going to give it a D tier. Obviously, it didn't pass the test of time.
Well, it did. Like I mentioned, it did get a reissue. There is a big. It's a cult classic game, but like I was saying, is that the reissue changes things. It's not the same game, which is unfortunate.
Right, what you just said is unfortunate, and I like cult classics. I love cult classic movies, but like I'm not gonna go out of my way on eBay to find a cult classic, board game that's gonna cost me, $500 now because it was the size of a house at the time it came out. I got Warhammer. I got Warhammer 40K if I want to do that. So.
Okay, Tina, where are you on the board?
Oh, well, I've got the opposite problem of common because I was already in high school when this game came out. So I don't remember it, but it looks like it would be a lot of fun to play. So I would have to go somewhere in the middle, like a B.
Okay, so if we got two S's, I'm guessing they win. S tier game, Fireball Island. All right. So here's our thing now. In this
Tina,
point,
we should have came to an agreement to make sure that didn't happen. That's not
I'm
good.
sorry.
Tina, what's your status on that? What did you say on that one?
Oh, I think I said a D, possibly a void.
All right, okay, D. I was totally okay with D. So we're gonna make Devil. We're gonna make Devil. The deciding
oh,
vote.
you're not. Why?
No, that was final answer, motherfuckers. You don't get to revote.
Hey, there was
Actually,
none
we
of
do.
that in
This
the
is
rules,
the
and I read them
time of the
very.
game. So this is the time of the game we do get to move things
Yes.
around.
Yep.
Yeah. God. I can't say D. If you guys went on C or B, I would have been probably more able to choose your guys' side. But it does look like a fun game. It does look like it's, so I have to go S, even though I think it's probably for my personal, it'd be A or B. But like I said, I get the choices you guys give me. So if it's S or D, I guess S. All right. So now, is there anyone you guys want to argue for moving up or down? Anyone that you really want to fight for? Or if there's a game that I didn't put on there that you are all like, hey, that had to have been on there, we can also judge that. But any changes you want to make before we lock in your
Nightmare
list?
S tier. Kidding.
I think Fireball is still bullshit. That's all I'm gonna say because this is nonsense, dude. You're talking S tier for a game that the majority of the panel has not only either A, never heard of, or B, never played. What do we got? One person on the panel that has played this game, and you're ranking it as an S tier.
I 100% agree.
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing with you, Devil. I'm arguing with the other idiot that decided to take that. Okay, because that just shows your low IQ. You never even played this game. At least all of the ones that I were like, I'm gonna rank S tier, I've actually played, even if it was for a nostalgia factor. But the fact that you're gonna rank a game that you have never
here, but
You have
three in a B category because it's iconic.
No. You ranked a game you've never played.
I have played
Never played.
I said I played it and I enjoyed the fuck out of it. As an
You
awesome
are lying.
thing.
You played that one time for 5 seconds. You had not even come close to playing that as many times as you played chess,
5 seconds of
checkers,
my
or
childhood
Monopoly.
life, motherfucker.
For that fact, you sucking dick just to make a point. Shut up. Chris Hansen, would he ask you to take a seat? You know what? Adam would probably take a seat. Especially after that bullshit argument for that last game.
I would concede to bring it down to an A.
Oh, you bullshit. Game you never played. Shut up.
I couldn't even imagine how bad this would be
I
if this was
played
a
it
category
one
they actually really
time.
cared about. Like if they're this intense about board games, if it was something they really cared about. It's like it's just straight sending bombs to each other in mail.
Come on, man. You know how military veterans are. Come on, you've hung out with us enough. You should know this by now. We're gonna roast each. Dude, we'll disagree on cigarette brands and argue all day long while we give each other cancer. Okay, we'll sit there and smoke each other to cancer to death while arguing that one cigarette brand is better than the other.
Marlboro Light
We're all
100.
dying,
Best fucking
motherfucker. It doesn't
cigarette you can
matter.
have. It's not too bad. It's not too overwhelming. Plus, of being 100, you get a 15-minute smoke break out of that instead of a 10-minute smoke break, motherfucker.
Ooh, see, I have to agree with Adam on that one because when I did smoke, it was Marlboro Lights 100.
There we go.
Okay, so Camels, first off, fuck you both. And second off, the fact that which one of y'all weirdos were such hardcore smokers, you could smoke 2 or 3 in a 15-minute smoke break. I smoked 1 and my throat was tore up for like at least until the next smoke break. Like, I tried smoking 2 one time in a 15-minute smoke break. I couldn't talk to my crew for an hour. What the hell is wrong with you addicts?
Let me tell you something real quick. Funny story about Camel cigarettes. You know, it says pure Turkish blend, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Well, we would get
Only on certain blends, but I never believed that shit.
That's the point I'm getting at. Is that
It
over?
came
in
from
Iraq-
Salem. The back of the
Oh,
cigarette
will
packet
you
said
shut
Salem.
the fuck up and let me fucking
No,
finish
they were
damn
my
story,
cigarettes.
motherfucker. In Iraq, we would get Camel cigarettes that came out of Turkey, and it says pure American blend. No bullshit.
Yeah, but that's because by the time you were in Iraq and Afghanistan, that's when they were starting to do all them stupid Turkish blends of Camel cigarettes. That's because they just recently hooked up with a supplier out of Turkey versus the Salem, Massachusetts tobacco they'd been getting for 6 decades.
My story was way funnier.
I give a fuck. Adam, you said Fireball, a game you've never played, was an S tier game. Nobody counts your opinion for shit.
Apparently, Devil made me do it. Does he put it up as S tier? So
Devil doesn't have a choice. He has to
out.
flip a coin and pick either S or D tier. And just because you're the nice guy with 10,000 subscribers, because you shut Tom McDonald's dick enough to do reaction videos, that's the only reason Devil's out here like, well, I guess I got to agree with Adam.
No. You guys put it in D. If you would have done B or A, I could have went with you guys. But it's like when a prosecutor charges for first-degree murder when it's obviously not first-degree murder, so the jury finds them innocent because they can't find him guilty. It's on what you charged. You freaking should have said B, and then I could have gone with you guys because I agree it's not.
No, you just said
S.
C a second ago.
I said B.
Hey,
and C.
Tina, are you
not
willing to go C on this
D.
one so we can make Devil eat his words?
Yes,
Because this is the part where we can start to rearrange things, right? This is the part where we can start to
Absolutely.
rearrange
And
things.
I've already said that I'm willing to concede and put it at A instead of S.
Well, that's what I'm saying, C tier. But now all we need to do is get Devil. All I need to do is get Tina to agree with me at a C tier, and then I can get Devil to agree with us at a C tier as well. I'm negotiating here, buddy.
I'll go a C.
Nah.
I'll move up.
It is not a C tier game.
No.
Devil, be a man of your word. Signed that contract. Make sure it stays solidified.
Hey, I have all the power. I'll put it on freaking B. There you go.
I'll take that. I take that as a win.
Fuck that shit, I'm out.
That's it. I'm glad I brought my knife.
And I got my razors.
I love those movies.
Right. So anything.
No, I'm bad, baby. I rip your lips off and kiss my ass with them shits. I seen them do it. I do that. That's how I get down, baby. I rip your tongue out and lick my balls with.
I've lost all control. I don't know if I.
You invited Adam and I on and expected any kind of control. What the fuck were you thinking?
I thought there was going to be peace in the whole military brotherhood, and instead it's ended up in anarchy.
You have not been watching Skinemax Saturday.
You clearly have not been watching Vets Talking at all.
All right. So, are any other arguments? Do we want to lock these in?
I want to bump down Candyland. I keep on thinking about that. It's.
I'm gonna agree with that.
Each time I see it up there at the A tier, I'm like,
And if you're gonna have Fireball Island a B, Candyland's gotta be a C.
Firebomb Island ain't nobody ever played except for like 5 rich people in the 1980s. Shut the fuck up.
See, my only problem with moving Candyland is that Shoots and Ladders can't be above Candyland.
I think
as
Shoots
far
and
as
Ladders.
Nope.
Yeah, Shoots and Ladders should be above it.
No, because Candyland was everybody's first. That's why. That's why it can't be above.
It was the first
It can't
game
be
I
above it.
realized was lame and there was no challenge.
It was the first game that taught you how to actually play a game.
So are we supposed to consider like Candyland as like your virginity? The first isn't going to be that great. So
or your first
Hey,
year,
yeah.
no,
Look,
Coors Light has to be
it was
best
super exciting. It only lasted for about 15 seconds, but you knew you wanted to do it again. Okay.
So then you found Chutes and Ladders and
Exactly. Next tier up. Next level of difficulty.
So
But Candy's like your virgin. It's like that first cherry you ever popped.
Okay, so we only can move it if people agree. So you guys both say move it down to a B, but you guys say leave it A.
I would
right?
say move it to a C.
I say B.
So it's still
Tina,
seems
it's
like
you and
an
me
A.
now. I'm still saying it's an A. What do you say, Tina?
oh God.
You're the deciding vote, not if there's any
I
pressure or
know.
anything.
Nothing pressure. I'm okay moving it to a B.
Oh!
Sorry.
Well, that turned it into a
Sorry.
neutral thing because the other two idiots said C.
What?
I know.
I said B.
You just defeated the whole purpose of the ranking argument.
Said B, he said C. So yeah.
I said C. Adam
you
said
said
B.
say A. I love
So
how
now
this
where are we
became-
at?
This is
Devil, it's you again.
No, because you said A, Adam said B, and then Zero said C. So she said B, so that's two Bs. And I love how this has gone from ranking stuff on its actual merit to like battling over
I just
who
like-
wins what ground here. It's become risk.
I like that it now looks like a middle finger. So
Yeah.
All right. So anything else we're gonna fight each other over here?
Yeah, sequence S tier.
Oh God.
Shut up.
All right.
I need to add like the clip of Fetterman going, "Good night, everybody."
Hello, good night, everybody.
All right. So I think it's a lock in. Am I good?
I'm down.
No, but I'm not happy, but I'll deal with it.
Okay.
Thomas
Locked
basically.
in.
you guys? I'm going home.
Home.
All
going
right.
home.
I will finish that out later. All right. So now it's the end. Let's do some outros. Tina, where can people find you?
people can find me on both Twitter and YouTube at Tina Bojan. I have 86 subscribers, so it means I'm really close to doing my second video. My first video, I got like 3 watch hours out of it. That's pretty awesome for a 5.5 minute video. So I'm thrilled as a total noob. When I'm not pretending to make videos, you can find me on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday nights on Sporking News Podcast, and then Friday and most Sunday nights on Vinny Arts channel.
Nice.
Thanks for having me back. This was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no problem. Anytime. Common, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Common Nerd at Common Nerd 1791. You can pretty much find me there on YouTube, Twitter, all over the place. There's even some Kick stuff. If I do get to 40 subscribers on Kick, I will do another 24-hour stream. But yeah, I just crossed 3,700 subscribers. Yeah, I just crossed 3,700 subscribers. So come check me out. I'm super excited about that. I'm going to do my best to beat Adam and Culture Casino here very shortly. It'll probably take me about 1.5 years, but considering their growth and the way they slow things down, because eventually Tom McDonald will stop producing videos, I'll be able to shoot right past all of them without any problems, sticking to my actual guns about things. But yeah, no, come check me out. We do a pop culture stream. I do a Monday through Friday stream, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We do a Wednesday night stream where we normally are promoting either all the craziness that's going on in pop culture, or we're talking about an independent comic creator. Thursday nights, I'm a mod for Geeks and Gamers Tabletop, checking out their Starfinder stuff. I'm also the Warhammer 40K lore master for Geeks and Gamers Tabletop as well. Just got done with my first intro to Warhammer video yesterday. I'm going to do some unboxings and a lot of new stuff on 10th edition coming very soon, so definitely check that out as well. And then Friday night comic shop talk with 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, always going over really great classic comics. Won't have an episode this week, but next week. And then obviously Sunday Bible study. We do a little stream for about an hour, just kind of going through the books of the Bible, just reading straight through it. It's not a sermon. We're not trying to preach to you. We're not trying to convert you. We just know that the morality of the world that we're currently facing right now, and what the cult and all of the rest of the woke nonsense out there, the kind of morality that they have tried pushing, is clearly not panning out. So we figured, just like the old man always said, dust off the old scrolls and try to maybe find a better way. So thank you, Devil, for having me on here. This has been an absolute blast, arguing with not only Adam, which of course it's always fun to argue with Adam, but Extra Zero, meeting you for the first time, Bad Take Bojan, getting to actually hang out with you on a stream, arguing over fuck of all the things in the world. Freaking board games. This has been fun. You guys know I'm down to argue over anything, so bring me back anytime you guys need an extra. This has been a blast. Thanks for having me on here, Devil.
Yeah, and you can catch him cutting Adam's break lines later. So.
Let's talk every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we'll have a good time.
Adam, where
you can find me drinking Jesse's tears.
He's just mad because I got a higher ASVAB score than him.
Pimp your very successful channel.
I see who's in the chat. Everyone knows where I'm at.
I like that. Oh, I don't have to pimp it. All these people already subscribe to me. Okay, Extra. Where can people find you, man?
So every Thursday.
All I gotta say before that, though, just because Devil said that, Devil does great work over here. We're having a great time. We're having a lot of fun. We're laughing our freaking asses off. This is a highly unsubscribed channel, okay? Even if you are already subscribed, share this on your social media. I don't care if you're on Facebook. I don't care if you're on Twitter, Instagram, wherever the hell you are. Share the social media out for this, because Devil absolutely deserves more subscribers. Sorry, Extra.
100%.
Yeah. Also, too, getting him some more subscribers actually make the videos searchable. Right now, you cannot search for these videos, so you got to be a friend, tell a friend, get the word out there that he's got this show going on, so you can actually search for it and find it in YouTube, because those YouTube gods, they don't like the devil, but we all do. And as for me, you can find me every Thursday night. I have a channel called Figure Action Podcast. We do we mostly talk about Transformers. We talk about third-party unlicensed figures. We talk about Marvel Legends, Marvel Black, Star Wars Black Series, anything coming out in industry news, insiders, anything.
Am I the only one who can't hear him?
Yeah, you're
okay. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one. Extra
yeah,
Zero. I don't know if you
just
scoot up
went to,
closer to your mic, but everything you just said for like the last 15 seconds blanked out.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was just me.
I think something's up with the gain on my mic. I'll have to play with that. But yeah, Figure Action Podcast every Thursday at 9 Eastern. We go live. We talk about stuff in the collecting space. If you're into collecting figures or anything in general with pop culture, nerddom, we specify in Transformers a lot, but we cover other things. Check us out. Then, of course, I'm the producer for the Legion of Memers. You can find me on the meme stream every Saturday. I got to shout out the show we've got coming up this Saturday. It's the 1-year anniversary show. We're going to have a lot of folks on, including folks on this panel tonight. So it's going to be a very long stream. Can't wait for everybody to see what we have in store, because it's going to be an amazing show. And then I'm, of course, here on Sunday nights, and you know the time if you're watching us. You can also find me on Twitter at Extra008. If you like memes, I meme the hell out of side scrollers on a damn near daily basis. So check me out there. Give me a follow. I'm working to get myself up to 300 followers by the I'm hoping by the end of September. So would really appreciate the follows, and I hope you appreciate the memes. But that's me.
Extra Zero. I got a co-host, Diesel, that's a Transformers fanatic. Remind me after this is over. I got to hook you guys up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you to the people in chat. Thank you to the viewers for being here and hanging with us. And thank you to all you guys for being on the panel. It's always, it always makes me feel good that there are people who want to participate in my little show. And thank you, Zero, for co-hosting, always saving me from sucking as bad as I would without you. And hit the like, subscribe, check out all the other videos, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully I'll have my closer then.
Hopefully so.